Wait, hold on.
For what?
And you're 100. Can you?
Is that your bank account?
Yes. Are you
Okay,
able
well,
to?
That's
what?
recorded, and this is gonna be public.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm taking donations.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
I'm not that far in debt. I thought that was a little bit worse.
Adam said he would take care of it. He's in a bench trial right now, I'm pretty sure, but
Okay,
I think he will be able to take care of it soon.
Okay.
Let the recording take note that Mr. Chatterbox here, aka Jagger Girardi, has been afforded restitution.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, Chad.
I will call off the
Dessert.
clown mob. There will be no
Please do.
attacks on City Hall from today on.
So kind of you.
Allegedly.
I do have a
Wait.
request from the council on Chatter's behalf.
Sure.
I have made a beautiful song for all of you, and if it rocks your socks
God.
off, if you can continue to wipe the rest of Chatterbox's debt,
Hey,
for thou
Mr.
shalt
Ratchet,
not
don't
know
make me
what he
change my
do.
mind.
Well, I'll make a good song. Are you ready, guys?
Oh God.
Okay.
Let's hear it, Mr. Ratchet. Come on, man.
Here we go.
Clown beat.
Rapper. My name is Chatter. I'm trying to help. Oh wait, I fucked it up. Yeah, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. Chatterbox is a good ass man. Mr. Coolwood, he got the plan. You hungry? I'll feed you. Everyone listen. Chatterbox didn't even do it. I'm not lying. We might be missing. We might be running. We might get in trouble. But listen, I'm not lying. He might have a gun and he might have a Glock. But when he pulls it, he don't ever shoot at the cops. I swear to God, we'll behave. Mr. Motherfucking Mayor, please let Chatter off the hook. He the man. I swear, I'm not Mr. Hook. I'm not a rapper. I'm a clown. And he ain't in debt. He should be set free. Yeah, that's all I got, motherfucker. I didn't read it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was
That was
way better
beautiful.
than
That was
Bon
almost.
Bon's
That was
song.
great.
Oh, yeah, motherfucker. Appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Anything else, Mr. Chatterbox? Anything you'd like to say to the Council of Eight?
Yeah, I wanna show my greatest appreciation. I was really upset yesterday because I thought I was going to prison forever. Kirk has been forming an army and it was gonna get really bad on my behalf, but I didn't ask him to do it. But now that this is happening, I can restore faith in clownkind, and no terrorist attacks will happen from today on.
God bless
Cool.
you, Chatty. Thank
Wait,
you.
Because
hold on.
they
So Kirk,
100% were going to
They
happen.
weren't gonna happen to
Okay.
begin with.
Thanks.
wait,
Yeah,
hold on. Wait one
that
second.
was-
So
I think-
Kirk is
Allegedly?
conspiring.
No?
I mean, are you recording
joke.
or something?
It was a-
I think
That
I
sounds
yucked
like
up. So I
hearsay.
think I yucked up again.
That was a joke.
Okay.
Very, very funny clown joke. I'll let you guys out. Come on.
It was mini phone, and
Hey.
then he went and kidnapped the cop at the hospital. It was his plan.
Chatty!
Hey,
He's
what
already
the?
in jail. Who cares?
Bye, clowns.
Thank you,
All right,
everybody.
y'all. Have a
Bye.
nice day.
Love you all.
Have a good
Love
one,
you.
y'all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess 226.
Okay.
So I didn't. I guess I didn't make any money off of the any of the adoption charges. I can't find one, but I made money.
Yeah. I got a snit.
You got a shit.
I mean, here's my other thought with it, because I don't want to, like, you know, I'm not trying to be a stickler or a dick about it, but you know, in technicality, if you made money off it and you're trying to absolve it, then should be paying that back.
No, I think you're right. I'm just saying. Yeah, look, I looked at it and I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. I guess I mean I can't find one. I think it was somebody else. So I think it was bad.
Okay. Now we move on to the meat and potatoes of the meeting. We are going to. So the way that this typically worked in the last council is we went from my left, and it is an opportunity for every member of the council to present legislation they think would be beneficial to the city. So I will send it to Mr. TJ Walker, the new treasurer. Do you have anything that you would like to present today to the Council of Eight?
In formal writing, unfortunately, not quite. In concept, yes.
Okay.
Apologies, I was more or
Well,
less. Yeah.
I mean, this is already kind of an unorthodox meeting.
Yeah.
What are the concepts here? Actually, you know what? No, we shouldn't discuss. I mean, you seem like a very articulate person, so we might be here for several hours as we hash it all out. We will keep the ball rolling so that we aren't here for 4 hours like was potentially the case. That was the case for us when we first got started because we were hammering everything out. Mr. Solomon Walker, do you have anything that you would like to present to the Council of Eight?
Not just, I've got some questions. Again, obviously, this is probably not going just for myself. There's a few of us here who this is our first council meeting. So I have a few questions on generalities. I don't know if this is necessarily the right time. So this is very much me asking you if we can ask questions just in general about how things work and how things have been working in the past. I mean, for one, obviously, this is your second term. So I would love to know what is there going to be the direction for your second term in terms of what you're hoping to achieve with the economy, with legislation, etc. I would also, if it was possible, if we can get an update on one of the questions I get a lot now as deputy mayor is about business licenses. And obviously at the moment, I feel like I can't really give anyone an answer. So if there's anything you can share with us so that when people inevitably ask me, as they have been, I have something more concrete to go on other than let me have my first meeting and then I can get back to you. So really my questions are, one, business licenses, where are we with those right now and what is the process going forward? Number two, in general, the economy right now, the state account, where are we with that? What is the direction we're moving in with that? What is the direction of the economy moving forward? I think for now, those are both pretty big topics. So I think I'll leave with just those two for now. And I'm sure I'll have more questions as we go.
So as far as business licenses go, that was a duty that I expected that I would immediately have to do and that I was prepared to do. Unfortunately, we have not been given the ability to even create a business, to give it the base the base attributes that would make them able to function as a business. My wife and I have gone over probably 30 plus business proposals.
You
at this
can
point.
see it in the report section. If you look at business proposal submissions, you can see the full list. Everybody is tracked there.
And we've got ones that are approved and denied, and some we haven't even gone over yet. And part of the reason I haven't gone over them yet is because I haven't heard any word from the state that we will have the base functionality that we need to actually make them happen. So what you can tell them is I've been getting pounded doggy style by the state for 3 months, and I've had to field the question of, hey, where are businesses quite a few times? And I don't mind fielding it. And it feels bad because I have to tell these people who have great ideas, legitimate. Like, for example, Winsong has an idea for a used furniture store, which is fucking amazing. Tons of good ideas that could be happening right now that are currently on hold because the efforts to reestablish Los Santos to its former glory is being directed elsewhere right now. There is a glimmer of hope, I will say, in the new real estate app, which tells me that they might soon be working on things relevant to businesses and business licenses. I can also disclose that we a lot of us here have been in and out of Los Santos for many years. We're familiar with the actual we're familiar with how businesses used to work. In the future, whenever the capability arrives, there's going to be, as far as I'm aware, 3 different tiers of businesses. There is going to be a tier of business license that will be given to felons that will pertain specifically to stuff that a felon would realistically have. Like, for example, a record label would be in this tier of businesses for these felons. It would be the easiest one to get. It would be the least profitable, the least. Who the fuck is at the door? That's pretty much all I know about businesses right now. And I have been asking for several months, and it just simply has not come. So at the very least, you can send people my way, Solomon, and I will speak with them for you.
I mean, if that's the stance we're on, I've got no problem fielding the question. I've got no problem, if anything, I've got if that's the case, if things are being held up by something completely outside of your control, of the council's control, I don't want people going, oh, my fucking license been held up, it's all Max's fault. It fucking isn't. So
Yeah.
I don't want to send them to you because they shouldn't be going to you. Anyone from this council, frankly, can field that question and say it's got fuck all to do with the mayor. It's held up by things outside of his control. It is what it is. There may be something coming soon. When we know more, you will know more.
Yep. The way that developments have been happening as well, we're not even getting forewarning.
Well, I mean, I feel like the Debtors prison is a great example, right? Everyone just woke up one day and like, oh, there's a thing that's just come down. Lovely, great that everyone could prep. Love that the DOC could prep for that.
I was in my head.
That's
so
nothing new.
Thanks for the answer on that one, Mass. Oh, sorry.
For the economy direction, and this is what I was trying to do. Basically, when the mayor's office received the power to adjust certain things like tax. Oh, first of all, the mayor's office always had the ability to adjust taxes. And what I did when I entered office, like 15 minutes after I entered office the first time, I lowered taxes as low as I could go. Within guidelines that were provided to me in regards to past mayors, like they could only lower it like 20% of its current value. And I did that. And then I actually overstepped and lowered property tax even lower because people were getting ready to buy houses for the first time. And the property tax was at 10% at that point, which, for a $500,000 house, that's a lot of fucking money. And I dropped it again to about 4%. Anyway, point is, the goal of my first economic policy was to fatten the pockets of people on the street, because I heard continuously from people that say that they felt like they had to work 12 hours a day in order to accomplish any of their goals, and that the charges that they were having to pay out, like for example the EMS, they said that they had to and there was a situation where ambulances were super fucked and they had to be repaired more than the average car. So this is actually a pretty bad example. I'll just say like a sanitation worker. They had to pay for their repairs. They had to buy food. They had to pay for gas, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people were struggling. Point is, and I wanted once I received the power, I wanted to make it so that they were able to profit as much as they could at the expense of the state account, straight up. I was going to be reinvesting into the people of Los Santos so that they felt like they did not have to work their hands to bones, so that they could purchase basic amenities like a home that isn't the government subsidized apartments, and a vehicle so they didn't have to rent a car every single day. And I think that was pretty well accomplished. A lot of those, I think the only job that I raised during election, because this was something that some people accused me of doing. The only thing that I actually raised during election time was the towing payout, because there was an issue on the back end with towing and the way that it was paying out. I had to drop it all the way as low as I could to compensate for what was effectively a double charge on the back end. So every time someone was impounding a vehicle, it was being charged twice to the state, essentially, or it was like, or maybe it was the job was paying out too much or whatever. It's to the point where towing was actually accounting for more than Group 6 and Grime Pay, which, by the way, all of that comes out of the state account. Every time someone does any of those jobs, that money is being extracted from the state account. So in emergency mode, I was like, holy fuck, how is towing worth $16 million in the last 7 days, and Grime and Group 6 are only worth $10 million combined? So I fucking dropped it. And then I had some conversations with tow workers during election week, and they were like, hey, I'm making like $150 or $200 per like impound now, which told me, I was like, oh, okay. So the state has fixed the issue on the back end, because it wasn't ever communicated to me that it was fixed. So I was like, okay, well then I'm gonna raise their pay to be in line with what I had set Grime and Group 6 to, so that people could work that job if they so pleased, without feeling like they had to go deliver packages or deliver money, blah, blah, blah. My economic policy for the very first, if you guys have ever played Civilization, I wanted there to be a golden age for people. I wanted people to make a lot of money. I feel like they did make a lot of money. And another aspect of that economic policy was, once I received the ability to do so, I invested heavily the state account into the sanitation market, because the sanitation market and the production of the materials associated with recycling and whatnot are a huge factor in people establishing themselves in Los Santos right now, because they're able to make their furniture. They're able to, make various, those materials essentially became an essential part of establishing their identity. I spent over almost 60 days. I call it the 60-day sanitation plan because it was almost 60 days. It was worth about $60 million from the state account. So the state account's making money the whole time, but also it was spending money specifically on sanitation work. And that was a huge drain on the state account. And I to the point where it was unsustainable. All of these changes happened prior to election season. I barely touched anything, probably for the last month or so, because I needed to be able to sustain that reinvestment into the sanitation market. Because while I was able to affect people's pay and have them earn more money, that still left a void where people felt like, and the sanitation robberies were a huge influence in this as well. I wanted to reinvest so that there were more people working sanitation, so that there were more people out there collecting these supplies, and simultaneously reducing the need for them to be robbed, because there would be more stuff on the street for these people that were robbing them to purchase for, because there would be more stuff, and because there was more stuff, they might even be cheaper as a result. What actually ended up happening, much to my chagrin, is that people, oh my God, get that motherfucker away from the door. What actually happened is that a large majority of these people actually began hoarding their materials and not providing them in a, which is fine at the end of the day. I don't expect people to convert all of their stuff into like repair parts for cars. That's unreasonable. Long story, I'm kind of rambling here because this is something I'm super passionate about. So I'll just cut it off here. I was in big spender mode pretty much the last 2 months of my first campaign. Now I have pulled out of reinvestment into sanitation almost entirely. I did that pretty much the day or a day or two after I was reelected, to allow the state account more time to recover, and it has a significant amount. I think at one point we were down to 43 million, and that would have been probably the day of the election. Now we're at least the last time I checked last night, about 12 hours ago, we were at 61 million.
That's 65 before I came here.
Damn. Okay, so that's good. My goal is to get to about 70 or 80 million, and then to reinvest into the sanitation market, because that is still a huge issue for a lot of people. Like, repair parts are scarce right now, and that is evidence to me that people probably don't have what they need right now. So basically, we're without dropping pay, we are allowing stuff to build up so that I can do another golden age toward the end of my term. That's my policy.
Can I ask then why EMS and doctors are still 250?
Oh, they're 500 right now.
Okay.
Less than the DLC are being paid, so it would still be a good discussion to have.
Oh, I gotta hold on.
Yeah.
As
do
for
you not have keys, Cornwood?
He's signing in as a cop right now.
Yeah, we can't do both.
For doctor and EMS pay, Cantor and I are more than welcome to discuss that after this meeting if she so pleases. Right now,
Does it have to be a private discussion? Can we I mean, we're all here. I would have been happy to. I just haven't seen you.
Well, I've been around.
I have been around a lot more. I can promise you that. I've been looking.
You've been looking for me?
Yes, I have. I was told you might be around way later, but I've actually stuck around that time and still not seen you quite a few days.
Yeah, the last time we met, you said you would talk to me in 2 to 3 days.
Yes, and then I did not see
you. Okay. And that was like a week and a half ago.
Yes. I have not seen you in that time.
I mean, we could have easily hashed this out right then and there, you know.
Well, you were incapacitated in bed at the time. It felt wrong to jump it on you, but yes, I did agree to speak.
I was the one who brought it up, and I was ready to do it.
I would have been happy to. You offered to speak in a few days, so I agreed to.
No, I offered to speak right then and there, and you told me that we would be able to meet with me in 2 to 3 days.
All right, all right, all right.
You did not offer that.
Can I back and forth with y'all real quick? Just keep it civil on this side to it. I'm happy to mediate if you guys want to it. Can I just put out a suggestion?
Sure.
Real quick. Why don't I work with them real quick? Same thing with DOC that we were just talking about, or Dogtown. Actually understand their expenses and how much it actually costs for them.
I haven't actually, if you're interested.
Well, at some point, yeah, could you send those to me? But at the same time,
course.
I know I didn't really get to talk about this too much. But Max, I'd like to do have a full fair market value assessment as to what people are actually making, and legislation wise is basically put in a minimum wage that cannot go below that without some sort of authorization.
From who?
Well, that's why I would like to. Well, from the whole council at that point. It have to be voted on.
Yeah, draft something up.
I will. But I just don't want to go back and forth with not available days back and forth, not productive. But just trying to keep it at least factually based. All right.
Sure, sounds great.
I mean, if we want to have a minimum wage, I mean, how are we going to, make sure we're getting the money to be able to pay the minimum wage?
Well, that is entirely with it. I mean, these are from your side to it, right, Cornwood, and from Doctors EMS. You're technically, I would classify as an emergency tier type of government job, like how you do it during the pandemic and shit like that.
Right.
Of
Essential workers?
Yes,
Of
essential
course.
workers. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. I'm sorry. I'm
I got you. No
no
worries.
sleep right now. Essential workers, right? And so you deem what is essential worker, and then you put it as that side to it, and they should still be
Mhm.
compensated to a point where it is agreeable based upon their time, their education, and what they're being provided to the city.
Okay. So, just a quick thing, numbers wise. You stated before something like Graham was taking 10 million out in a day or something. At the math,
towing.
adding up, towing was okay. Adding up the math of every single hours that was done in the last month, it was a total of 2,082 and a half hours at a doctor's. At the rate we were at before, at 1050, that is barely over 2 million in an entire month. And we have no other expenses.
Cool.
So that is perfectly reasonable, I believe.
So I mean, doctors have no overhead, right? I mean, do you guys have to pay for your supplies and stuff?
No, we do not, which is why this information is based purely on hours alone. EMS, I still stand by, should be higher. But I only have the statistics, hours based for doctors. I actually do have all of the numbers for EMS and their expenses, which I would be happy to share with TJ as well.
Who chose Happy as the chief of EMS?
They voted. There were three.
They
different
voted
people.
internally?
Yes. Between all the EMS.
I had a very alarming conversation with him probably about a week before election, where I asked him how things were going. And I was like, "Who you voting for?" And he told me, "Hey, I can't really discuss that." I was like, "Fine, whatever." He proceeded to bombard me for about 15 or 20 minutes about the various woes that he, as the chief of EMS, was facing. Primarily the horrible prospect of having to ask other EMSs to possibly contribute just a small amount of money to a communal fund where they could all chip in to replace their shared ambulance engines. And I sat down, and he kept very good records in his defense, where he was very thorough, in which he was able to track how often those engines need to be replaced, and it was about 5 weeks, a little more than 5 weeks, for a $12,000 engine replacement. At the time, and for quite a while, they were being paid $1,300 an hour. $1,300 an hour, every EMS, for more than a month. And what that means is, you know, I like to consider this. How many hours are in 5 weeks? What's that fucking number? $840 hours. Okay. Now what we need to figure out, like, what's the average work time of someone that's doing EMS, or at least was actively doing it at that point. I think Happy himself said maybe he was working about how many hours a week? It was a pretty impressive amount.
Mhm.
More than enough to impressively single-handedly replace every engine if he needed to, and then still make money if he were to work every single day for like 7 hours. But the thing was, he didn't need to replace those engines, because those engines did not need to be replaced except for once every 5+ weeks. And sometimes more than that, sometimes less than that, depending on, you know, what sort of trauma that particular ambulance suffered. So it was shocking to me when I said, hey, why don't you go around, EMS Chief Happy, and get people to contribute even $1,000 a day, which is not even 1 hour's worth of pay for an EMS, to a mutual fund where you guys are able to draw on that to replace engines, so you don't have to ask people to do that themselves, because they're all shared vehicles. They don't get to purchase their own vehicles. I wish they could. And he said, well, Max, I just don't feel comfortable asking other EMS to do that. I was like, why? You're their boss. That is a perfect solution to your problem. And he did not seem very convinced at all that that was even a possibility, which then called into question his ability to lead that department. Because if he's not able to make a decision that does not even account for 1 full hour's worth of pay at that point, what else is going wrong? And then I learned what else was going wrong, because my wife encountered a homeless fellow who you know what I'm talking about, the guy that you hired, Jason, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, he's great.
Did you
He's
know
amazing.
that how long was he going to have to wait for an EMS interview, darling?
Mid-May. He said mid-May.
Oh, there we go.
And this was
weeks.
April. This was like from like mid-April, yeah.
So at that point, I realized something, and it was something that Alan Crane actually said when we were discussing raising pay in the past. Money is not a motivator for activity. It isn't. And lowering your guys' pay actually was a great experiment, and this is why I did it.
To
but
be frank, our hours have not gone up. If you're going to try to make that claim, I track all of it. We've had the exact same people working still. We still have downtimes. We still have AU. We struggle with staff. It has been about the same. The only person who's worked more is me. So congratulations. I have made sure to be there as much as possible to make sure I could do things like talk to you.
So it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that lowering your guys' pay actually didn't affect your guys' output at the hospital.
No, it did not. But if you want to make the statement that because we are willing to save people's lives anyway, we should not get paid, sure, yeah. I hope the city sees that.
Okay.
This is why I wanted to have this conversation in private, because this is a great conversation for me and her to have. And you know, as that sort of thing is the purview of the mayor's office, afforded by the state. It's a decision that I can make myself. So the thing that I wanted to meet with you about, Philippa, is,
which I'm happy to do. We can still do that.
Of course. Oh, we can do it now, though.
Okay, sure. If you want me to.
I would love to do it now.
Sure.
You hold the role of a doctor in high esteem. You hold it in such a way that, and this is, I'm not saying you said this in particular. This is something that was kind of being cried about on Twitter after your guys' pay was lowered. That, you know, why do senior buns workers make more money than doctors? How could that be? How could this honorable profession be worth so little in the eyes of the state, in the eyes of the mayor? The mayor is a piece of shit. Blah blah blah. It's awful. They're super selfless, and I agree. You guys are selfless. I'm not debating that at all. It seemed like the public and yourself hold that particular group to high standard. So do I. the thing that I was going to propose, so that we could get back on, I suppose restoring your guys' pay to what it was, is that I was interested in seeing two things happen. One thing, the first thing,
Sure.
is I would like the mayor's office would be very keen on seeing that this high standard that has been set by the public and by yourself is followed through with completely, and that no felons would be able to work for the LSMG, for the medical group. And that would allow me to very easily justify it as a position that deserves that high pay, because you guys are holding yourselves to very high standards, rightfully so. And the second thing is that I would like to see a palpable and productive plan to remove inactive doctors from your roster, maybe once every 3 like if someone's inactive for like 3 weeks, that person gets the boot, essentially. Those are the two
Okay.
things that I am personally interested in, and that if those can be, we can discuss that now, the terms of that,
Sure.
if you would like.
Okay, let me break this down. To the second point, we do. We are firing 13 people tonight based on their
Ooh.
inactivity. We have a system in place where people are marked inactive when they don't complete their hours. If they don't complete them again over the next few months, they're fired immediately.
Okay.
13 people are being fired. Numerous more are being marked as inactive.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
So we have that. For the first point, I know it's been stated here. I'm not a board member. I know y'all think I am, but I'm not high command. I do not make those decisions.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're married to someone on the board, right?
No, I'm not. He is an attending as well.
Oh, who are the people on the board again?
Pixie, Janetti, and Derek Shaw.
Well, I haven't seen Janetti in a long time. He might have been around. I
He's
have
around
seen
pretty frequently.
I have seen Shaw, and
Usually
of
earlier.
course I've seen Pixie.
Mhm.
So I suppose your role as PD liaison now
Have
is
you
to.
seen Shaw? I haven't. Jesus.
I saw
That's
him
impressive.
briefly. I saw him very briefly. One night.
That's a
It was
very rare spot.
So like, are you agreeable to the prospect of making it so that doctors are they can't have a felony at all? Is that something that you would be interested in?
I'm going to be very frank in my answer here, so bear with me.
Okay.
I would have never had an issue with that. If we
Ooh.
started out with no felonies, that would have been fine. I never intend to commit a felony. That's no issue.
Right.
However, based on the entirety of my work with you, I do not trust your intentions. And I see this as an easier way to get rid of me. And I
Wait,
fully
why?
expect if this were to be changed, I would have a gun planted on me in a heartbeat. So,
Well,
I am
Wait,
currently
if
against
I
it.
may, if I may.
well, hold on,
If
hold
I-
on. We have the gun plantee alpha subject 0 here, actually, Mr. Braun.
Mhm.
Patient 0, yeah, that's true.
What are the
Alright.
what's the likelihood of Miss Cantor having a gun planted on her and being found guilty?
We got like forensic technology that kind of helps with that. My case was particularly unique in that I lost a great deal of short-term memory,
Right.
in the ordeal. So it was a tricky one.
To be frank
Um,
here, Mags, what are your motivations then? Because when I heard this, because Siobhan mentioned it to one of my doctors, my only assumption was negative. Is there a doctor you have an issue with? Because we only have approximately 3 doctors that I'm aware of that have felonies as of right now, and I can break them all down. There is Julio Thomas, who has been given an exception purely based on the fact that he is a great goddamn doctor. We've
Mhm.
even talked about it here.
I arrested him.
The decision was given to Derek Shaw to come fire him if he wanted to, and the decision was made by him to leave him. There was Giovanna Gambino. She has
Yeah.
accomplice to a charge. The officer requested that we not fire her for it. And Adam
who's the
Maziak,
officer?
who has reckless driving. That's it. I believe Declan Crane.
Ooh.
Okay.
My intentions were already stated.
I mean, Chief Justice Crane always says he's a screw up. So
Oh, okay.
It's just to gap the disconnect between the perceived honorableness of your role and what is actually happening behind closed doors. And look, I know it's not a super egregious thing right now. I know, like you said, there's only like 3 felons who even
Right.
work at the hospital right now. Just moving forward, it'll be easy from the mayor's office in the future to justify raising your guys' pay even more if we are able to articulate to the people and to the Council of Eights in the future, whoever takes this role after me, that you know what, maybe you guys do deserve $2,000 an hour because you're fucking confined to the hospital, because you have to stay clean, and all of that shit. I think the standard should be higher.
I mean, G6 is that high, right?
Mm-hmm.
I understand. G6 is, not many other are. That's one example. However, I can see your point. I will say, with the felonies thing, there are most felonies we would fire for. Anything considered even closely violent, anything considered drug related. The only reason the exception is made is for fringe cases like reckless driving, for example. He didn't even evade. The accomplished charge is a bit of a unique one, and obviously, Julio's the whole thing because that one's up to Derek. But we do. We honestly do. I can bring the example to the board. However, I will not hide from them my beliefs of your motivations as well.
Okay.
I personally don't want a
Cletus.
felon going through my belongings when I can't move under my own power. I don't know.
They don't. They would be fired
Well, I'm saying-
instantly.
I mean,
I
I'm more of a
think
trust.
We have never once had that happen, and they would be fired for it. We still have standards here, Murphy.
Cletus.
I have a couple things to mention. One, to the gun plant point, like all that bullshit. Like Murphy said, it was it was at a time where we didn't have like the forensic shit that we needed to be able to follow up with that. Two, I mean, there's obviously officer discretion that comes into play here. I think I've personally handled several cases where I've seen a gun planted on somebody, and it's pretty easy to tell. And it's not so much that you can tell that 100% they had a gun planted, or that 100% they had that gun, used it criminally, but there's enough reasonable doubt there that I personally, using officer discretion, wouldn't feel comfortable charging someone. So I don't really believe in the fear of having a gun planted on you. Can it happen?
Okay.
Yes, but I don't think you should be too worried about that. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, to the mayor's point as well. I mean, I think having a felony or having no felons at all in the hospital, and having the job of a doctor be held in such high regard, absolutely justifies higher pay. Confined to the hospital, you have to keep a clean record. I mean, I think hell, I think y'all's pay should go way the hell up, in the long term.
Agreed.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Cornwood.
Yeah, that's basically it. And you can take that to your superiors and discuss.
Sure.
Like, you come back with a counteroffer.
Sure.
I'm always
I'll absolutely
open
do that.
for negotiations. As for EMS, their pay was docked because the person that they voted in to lead them has proven that whatever sort of hiring process is going on, he must not be involved in, or is involved in.
I believe
and
they
as
have
a
a PNT that does it. I don't know who runs that though. I can look into it for you.
I need to meet with him so that he can tell me the precise particulars of why it's taking 3 weeks for someone to get an interview. Because the EMS are already so short-staffed that it should be an immediate issue that should have been resolved by him, that wasn't. And then the engine stuff, I was just like, listen, man, if like my child in kindergarten could have figured out that if everyone came together and worked just a tiny little bit and contributed 45 minutes worth of pay to a mutual fund, that you guys could have solved your engine issue yourself. Why are you complaining to me? Why are you asking me for the 20th time for a state budget? It's not happening. It will never happen. It cannot happen. And that is not even my decision.
To be clear, I will back that up in the discussion with him. I will make it clear that maybe that was my bad on not explaining that well enough when that change of power happened. I had many talks with Kiki about it, but I will reiterate that to them. To their credit, I can understand how a shared bank account might make that more easy to understand. I think he's struggling with trying to split his money and the EMS is in one bank account.
That shit's
so
fucked.
that I could see, but yes, I understand it's a limitation right now.
The whole shared bank account shit is also like an aspect of like powers that judges should have that they cannot have, that they would have if the business stuff was prepared. So I understand it requires a little extra work from him. The issue was that I didn't see that he was willing to do that work. I was questioning, why are they the highest paid role in the city if they're not improving? I don't know. Yeah.
I can see your point. I do believe they are. And hopefully we can prove that to you. Obviously, I am more of an outside participant on this. But I've been trying to make an active point and discussing with mainly High Command and other members when I get the chance. Things seem good on our end. But I will happily discuss any concerns. So we can figure that out.
I have one thing. Go ahead.
Oh, hold on. I wanted to thank. I wanted to thank Philippa for being reasonable. I know we've had our
that. You as well.
disagreements. I want to state for the record that a long time ago, I learned that violence is not necessarily a solution to any quarrels that I might have experienced in the past, and that applies to the current day. I mean, none of you any harm or ill will, and I am trying to act and future proof for people who are going to come after us. That will always be my intention. And I'm sorry I was not as available as I likely should have been for you, Philippa.
I understand. It's okay. People get busy. Just glad we can discuss it now.
And I believe in 100% transparency. So that said, were we on you, Philippa, going around the table?
I believe so. Unless you have anything, Solomon. I don't think we were able to get to you yet.
No, I mean, like I said, no, I was, I had those two questions because they've been asked of me maybe 100 fucking times in the last week, and I need to know what response I can give, what response I should give, and what the current stance is. Which I think, thank you, Mayor, for answering those as succinctly as you did.
Yeah.
So very much, Philippa, we are over to you.
Oh, wait. Actually, Cleese did say he had a point. What was that?
Oh, yes, go for it.
I wanted to ask, did Happy come to you about any other fundraising ideas other than putting together a fund?
Yes.
Sorry, she was.
It's all right. It's okay. I have discussed with a few of the EMS a couple different ideas.
Right.
We've done some. We've been able to raise $90K for them. I'm sure that heavily publicized by Gossip Gal. We have a little bit of extra cash that Happy had to convince me to give to the doctors because I felt so bad for them. So we've been giving out hourly bonuses to them based on the small amounts that we were given. And then EMS made 90 out of it. They are planning to do more as well.
Yeah,
cool.
I know Happy. I was talking to him, and Happy came to me with. He said they had ideas for like an ambulance race, and that's something the PD can help facilitate and kind of stand around, and we can set up barriers and stuff for. And there's like a date night auction, treasure hunt, hide and seek tournament, a triathlon. So on the EMS side of things, I know I'm not to just to add to what Cantor's saying.
Of course.
I know they were coming up with some more ideas to help fund on their own, which is I thought that was good to hear.
Absolutely. And just to round off this discussion before we move on, I have to do my due diligence and ask here: is it possible to, in the meantime, increase the pay of either factions? Specifically EMS, they do have far more costs than us.
I can raise EMS to 750 for now until I can meet with Abby.
Thank you.
I'll do it right now.
Nice. Hey.
Hooray.
Fucking love that.
There
All right,
go.
good shit. See, that's what being proactive does.
Democracy on demand.
Look at that progress.
All right.
People working together. That's wild.
Yeah, no, Happy. Hey, I was talking to Happy about it for a while, and he said he was going to come to you with his ideas too, or he already had come to you with his ideas too. Sorry.
Yes. I hadn't heard of that one actually. But one of the EMS, Berrigan. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I feel really bad. He has come up with a few different ideas that I've spoken with him about specifically. And yeah, I've offered to help. We're going to do a date auction, so I was going to throw myself in there. So I'm going to have a date with the healthcare liaison. Fuck it.
Well, there you go.
All right. Yeah. But we'll keep trying. I will do my best to make sure that they can afford those things out of their own pocket because I understand the state can't pay for it, and I will continue to back that up.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
is what I'm hearing. It
I'm
all comes
literally,
down to communication and just people having a conversation. Is that what I'm hearing?
Wild.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah.
Okay. Philippa, do you have
Hi.
anything you'd like to present?
Yes. Let me see here. Throw these in the MDT. You discussed transparency. I do have something I would like to propose for that. To
Sure.
be frank, not my idea initially. I was worked on by Nakota and Etta. However, since they are no longer here, I will bring it forward for them. Let me throw this in.
Okay.
There we are, should be in City Council documents. The Economic Transparency and Tracking Act.
Is there a reason this wasn't in before the meeting?
I'll just kind of deciding what we have time for, what we want to get done. Didn't want to force anything if we ended up for hours here, just onboarding everyone, you know.
Is this it? Just one line?
Pretty much, yes. The proposal is essentially this. If we agree to it, it's not. It is just.
Well, TJ, this is actually a lot of words for Nakota and Etta, so I think it's actually a lot of words for them.
To be clear, we can expand on this and rework it if we want to. That's how we've done things many times in the past. If you would like to suggest things, sometimes we don't pass things
yeah.
until things are adjusted. So yeah, whatever you've got.
Let me take a stab at this over the next few days because I can work that into some of the other shit that I was talking about.
Sure,
Use my
perfect.
French.
Oh, that's all right.
I see it's being called the EDA Act. All right,
yes.
fair enough.
Well, I do have a problem with that, and that's that a couple of months ago, Michael Simone already presented the Ego Act.
Where are we going with that one?
You think Etta has a giant ego of all people?
I don't know her enough well.
Oh God,
to
that
comment on
could have
that
been
one.
clever with the right person, but I don't know on that one.
All right. Yeah, let me take a look at this, and I'll actually
Sure. No, that's
flush
perfect.
this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm
Take it and
a
run with
man
it.
of very, I don't know, a lot of guard rails more than anything else.
That's fair. Yeah, we can definitely do more with this. I brought it as is, so that we could discuss and work on. But absolutely. I'll say it seems like you have a lot of ideas, so we will rework it.
I will say, for the sake of, I've tried to make most, I've tried to make most changes public.
Sure.
And every time I adjust something, it is actually published in the newspaper.
Really?
Easy. I've never seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen it shows the taxes, but I've never seen a change to the pay. See, that is also part of this.
Well, I could actually go check right now. I'm not sure about the pay, but I know that the taxes and
the taxes are there.
The taxes and the pay are there. So there's two ways.
Yeah, actually.
There's two.
Oh, is it? Okay.
There's two different pay changes I can do. One, the state has a base pay for them, and I can adjust it on a slider-ish, for lack of a better word. Or in the case of EMS, doctors, PD, and I think one other one I can't really remember, I can actually set a numerical value. I'm gonna go check if that numerical value is in the newspaper.
Break time.
Type 5.
Since I'll leave the fun one to the end. For the serious discussions, just to do my due diligence and vouch for what EMS are requesting. I'll give my two big disclaimers here, or three, I guess. One, I know all of this is a discussion with John City, but I don't know them, so I'm gonna throw this in the void here to see if any of y'all can ask. They have a few things that they want in the future, and all I am asking for is a path forward for them on how they get it and how much it would be, if so. We're not asking the state to pay for it. We're not asking for it right now. I get that. However, their wants and needs currently are the ability to buy their own ambulances. I know we discussed that.
Is this specifically EMS requests?
Yes. The ability to buy their own ambulance is a request. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, take your time.
Hold on.
That one, I believe, would just benefit the state budget. I mean, because they'd be putting their own money back into it. They'd be paying for the repairs. So, if possible, makes a lot of sense to me. also
Can I ask
solves
a
the
question with
issue
that?
of the. Yeah, go for it.
So, as you may be aware, about 5 years ago, I did steal back my car, as I
Oh
had paid
yes,
for it and was property
yes, I remember that.
as my cruiser.
Right.
With the I mean, I would say, I'm guessing at this point is not property of them,
Yes, they're
and that
all
it goes back to the
currently.
state.
Um. Actually, that's a good point. I would assume so. We could make it that way. I'm not sure how it's functioned for them in the past, but yes, it wouldn't make sense for them to be driving around ambulances if they quit.
The police department has a policy
Mhm.
where this actually might be Department of Justice. So Murphy might know about this. Police officers are allowed to drive decommissioned vehicles.
Mhm.
And the moment a crime is committed that isn't like a traffic infraction, it's just automatically seized by the state.
Okay.
So there is precedent there to allow for you guys to be like, okay, you're no longer an EMS. Your ambulance belongs to us now. Like
Okay.
that is totally possible.
That definitely makes sense, honestly. I think if they were just informed, hey, it's a risk you take. If you ever lose the position, you'd lose the ambulance. I to be honest, I think even driving it around without crime, when you are not an EMS might be a little bit absurd. With a police car, at least it's an
Agreed.
actual car. An ambulance is a
Yeah,
bit
is
different. So
pretty
that's fair.
distinctly
Yeah,
an ambulance.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, I'm for that. I
Okay.
will push that forward. What else?
Sounds great. So that was step number one. The other one was the improved ambulances. I know at the start there was kind of a discussion about it. Currently, their ambulances do not have a lot of seats, and just frankly are not very good. They used to have far better ambulances. I know it was said someone was looking into shipping in better ambulances. I don't know if that's happened, but that would be great because what they have right now is pretty trash. If they could buy the better ones, even keep the shit ones shared, that'd be great.
Good idea.
Okay. Then the other two are the big budget items. Is a fire truck and life flight. For those, it is simply, is it possible? And if so, how much do they have to save up?
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. I appreciate you writing those down. That's great.
I heard that the police department acquired a piece of equipment today.
Wait, really?
we
What
did.
they get?
3 of them.
Wait, huh?
Three
Like,
of them.
3.
No,
Wow.
no,
Wait,
no,
hold
we had
on. What?
from my, as far as I understand, it was a rental.
Okay, okay. No, that actually makes some sense. All right. Because yeah, we were told pretty clearly for EMS they had to save up the $8 million to get it.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a little bit cheaper.
Okay, fuck yeah. Hey, that's great. I mean,
but as
it
far
sounds
as
like
I
EMS
know-
would be willing to save up too, so that's okay. But yeah, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, hell, I think EMS is. I think them getting life flight would be fantastic. Hopefully, just around the corner, seeing as how we got everyone now. And
Yeah,
even if,
that's a
even
good
if it's a
start.
rental, right? Even if we got
Yeah.
a rental.
Of course. I know any progress on that would mean a lot for them. I get quite a lot of questions.
I do have something about the improved ambulances actually.
Sure. Yeah, what you got?
Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
I guess Mike went ahead and pushed through the 6-seater ambulances.
Okay.
There just needs to be one more thing done on the back end so that they're available, and I think they will be replacing the 4-seater ones, unless
That's
I'm
great,
mistaken.
too. That would help. Okay.
All right, great.
That's
In
perfect.
the meantime, myself and Ruby York, we're working with Happy to get them a Scout that we have parked inside their.
Yes, I do believe they have that already. That was what they put the 90K towards, I believe, or at least a portion of it.
That's for mountain
that they
rescues,
can-
right?
Yes, I believe it's a cert that they have, so they do not use it for every call all the time. But it is to get into those trickier to reach spaces.
I will say the Karakara is way better at scaling a mountain than the Scout is.
I thought that at first. Someone in PD explained it would be the Scout, so I think they went in and asked about both.
Yeah, I
guess they
rode
landed
with
on the
both of them,
Scout.
and
Yeah.
I rode with both of them, and he chose the Scout. So
Okay, there you go. Maybe they'll buy another one later down the line.
Yeah. Once again, I'm super stoked that we are finding solutions that we are able to do without sucking at the teat of the federal government. That's a good
Right.
example of it.
Yeah, honestly, I'm happy to help them continue to do that. I know how it works with the state budget, and we'll get it done.
It's been
Okay.
a hell of a meeting so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Cletus, you got anything to present?
I had one more actually, if that's okay. My
Yeah.
fun
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
To break the tension on things. This is just kind of, this is a vibe check thing. I didn't put this one in on purpose because I want to see y'all's opinions in person.
Okay.
Let me grab it here. This is a proposal for a charge similar to the DRIP Act.
Okay.
There it is. This would be a charge, not an act. That is punished only with a fine and not a time.
Oh my god. I would fucking love you for this one.
Right?
I was going to propose a horny tax, so I am.
See, that's what it is. It's a horny tax.
That's essentially what it is.
Look, I was called by 2 different people before this meeting, asking to be able to murder people who do this. Like people be posting shit on Twitter like, "Oh, my pussy's so wet. Ooh,
yep.
Ooh,
yeah,
my
all the
dad."
time.
And also it
it's
probably
so bad.
stank.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Can we call it the Who Asked Act?
Please.
That's not a bad one either. I quite like my name I came up with though. It's just this is just a charge. It's just enforced respectful posting, or ERP.
I'm for it. Well, I found out that I have the ability to potentially ban people from Twitter.
Oh, God bless! It can be a 1K fine, and the mayor bans you
for like a month, for like a week or a month.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
You would have hated me 5 years ago.
Reposted about your dick.
You would have banned Twitter Warrior TJ.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
you weren't posting fucking weirdly sexual shit on your fucking social media.
No, it wasn't that.
No, it was just other stuff.
Very political.
Yeah,
I hate excessive romantic betrayal.
So what we do for stuff that Philippa just presented, we will typically sort of vote now, and I'm for it, and then we can go to my left to TJ.
Well, let me look at the different fines real quick. Is that like in line?
That's in
I
line.
just put it at 1K along with like the DRIP Act and stuff, so it's a bit of a slap on the wrist, but it adds up. It adds up.
I think so this is something that Alan was talking about having to go do. I don't know if he's done it yet. To kind of reassess the penal code. I would say that this fine right here is probably within that vision.
Perfect.
For sure.
All right, yeah, because we got arson for literally letting $188 more.
Yeah, some are a little bit, but this one's also no jail time, right? So that's the conversation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It's purely the fun.
Yeah. So how do you feel, DJ?
Give me a little bit. Go to the next one. I'm not against it. I just want to think about the anything else to add to it or not. So we'll go down the line.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cantor?
Definitely yes.
Cletus?
Absolutely.
Braun?
I mean, I am a sucker for free speech. That's the thing. I'm kind of 2 minds about this. Like I find it fucking obnoxious as the next person. I'm totally in agreement, but I got to think First Amendment, Fourth Estate. Let's say Ursula over there wants to write a news story about some people fucking. Now she's getting $1,000 fine by some cop who's got a problem with Ursula, and now we're having to deal with that. So I'm thinking about that a little bit, how it could be misused. I'm kind of like a no, but keep cooking on this.
It's not a big fine. It's not a felony. It wouldn't disqualify for anyone from anything.
Should be a felony.
It's always
fair.
a series of small justifications that leads to the worst possible outcome, though. It's always someone who says, "Oh, it's not a big deal," that creates a slippery slope. So just
Fair.
legally, I'm not a fan of suppressing free speech.
Okay.
That's fair. I am in favor of suppressing this kind of speech.
Same. And he
Well-
says overtly, so it can be argued in court if someone thinks that theirs was reasonable. You know, I suppose.
Yeah.
I am in favor of arguing things in court, though.
Yeah, exactly. I very specifically left it vague enough they can, so judges can have fun looking at horny posts.
If you put in there that say that can be appealed by judges and determine ERP.
I mean, we can write that if you want.
I think it's applied.
It is appropriate.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So you are a no then, Murphy? As written right now? It's okay if you are. I see your point. I see your point.
If we're voting on it right now, I'm a no. But I'm
Okay.
not like ultimately against like curbing that somehow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. We can always adjust it later as well if we find this in its current form isn't working.
I'm with you in spirit.
Okay.
Siobhan?
I'm reminded of the great SCOTUS opinion once that if something is funny versus overtly sexual, you know that the smell test. I'll know it when I see it, right?
Mhm.
Sort of thing.
Hey, listen,
I'm
if that
confident the
shit's that
judiciary's
wet-
ability to adjudicate,
Mhm.
speech in that regard. But yeah.
Same. Okay. So it passes. Can you edit the title, Philippa, to
Yes.
say pass and write down who voted yes and who voted no and who abstained and whatnot at the bottom?
Okay. So it's only a no from Murphy, right? Or
fuck, TJ. Wait, what's your final vote?
I would put it more as an abstain for right now.
Okay.
I'm not a yes or no. I like it, but I think that there should be some parameters around it outside of just that.
Fair. So we got 2 abstains and Crane and TJ. We got 1 no from Mr. Braun, and then we have yeses for the rest of us.
Perfect.
Okay.
There was one thing. Someone added twatter in here. I was gonna leave that off so it could apply to the lemon list and things. If they try
Oh.
to get smart with it. Yeah.
That was me actually. Hang on.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't abstaining a yes?
No.
Isn't
No.
that where
No.
abstinence comes from?
No.
Wait. I
What?
think that's the opposite.
I mean,
What?
I think they're
I
saying
mean, yeah,
no.
abstinence does come from like abstaining, but it's not. Those are different. There's a
I got
different.
confused. Okay.
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 Cletus, you got anything you want to present?
I have a couple things to talk about.
Sure. Actually, break time.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
5
Break
minutes.
time. 5 minutes.
It helped. It helped.
That's pretty
Allegedly
fun.
moonshine.
These chairs
Allegedly.
are
Allegedly.
a fucking cunt.
They are. I know.
Huh.
You get used to it.
These
but,
chairs are
yeah.
a cunt.
Well, okay. Just sit down.
No, they are.
Oh, don't.
They are. No,
They-
those chairs are a
Yeah.
cunt.
Don't you fucking start with me.
Just sit
What are
down.
you gonna do?
Sit down.
Sat
Oh,
down.
look, he did it. Look at that.
Half the time it's like super easy. Then the other half it's like what the fuck.
The other half of the time is thinking, I'm about to sit down on the table.
All right, we all aware in here, everyone?
Yes.
Where?
Yes.
Cletus?
Cletus!
You
Uh-huh.
right?
Oh, sorry. I fell
Hungry?
asleep. No, I just fell asleep.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, time to wake up.
Court. What are we
No,
doing?
not court, Cletus.
Back,
It's
council's
your
back in
turn.
session.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, what do you got, bud?
Okay. So, I have a few things. Mostly some small notes. How do y'all feel about the PD vehicles and PD vehicles and ambulances not being allowed to be towed at all unless they're asked to be done so by police officer or EMS?
So what's historically been happening?
So we've had
Yeah, this has been happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had an issue with these damn tow terrorists going through and basically just at the second your lights are off for like literally like 40 seconds, you go in, go out, and they start towing your shit. Just making the whole, like, maybe making it its own charge. You already can't boot them, right? But you can't boot at least a PD vehicle. But making it just completely illegal to tow the vehicle unless an officer asks you to, or an EMS.
And Kyle Pred is a lawyer, and he is going to keep doing this until something happens.
Yeah. He stood there and explained to us why he should be able to tow ambulances out of the loading bay, which it was. He truly does believe his points, so this does need to be legislated to stop it.
I mean, I can give you two examples of that. I was there, seeing a ambulance start getting towed out of the loading bay, and then I also, we were at a scene of a cash exchange robbery when we had a news crew show up, and news crew's trying to film, and we're interviewing the hostage, and news crew's trying to talk to the police, see what happens. When we're cleaning up, right? The pursuit's going on elsewhere, and then we have people attaching, and we had a. I believe it was Declan Crane went and just flipped off the lights for just a second so that, just as a courtesy to the other folks in the area, to not block traffic from them locals, and to make sure that the news crew could film with good lighting and whatnot. And then all of a sudden it turned into some shit where a tow truck driver came by and right in front of us started trying to tow the shit. It's like, hold on now. Now, legally, he's within his right to do that because, technically it was parked illegally and it didn't have its lights on. But it's a common sense sort of thing. So if we just have it in legislation, same goes for ambulances. How do y'all? I mean, that's pretty much it. How do y'all feel about it? Is that something that y'all think would be reasonable to pass?
I kind of, it is an issue. It's become an issue. There are, I guess, extremely fringe circumstances where vehicles should be towed, even though they're government workers. My light concern, just to devil's advocate on things, would be: would this allow people who drive government vehicles to just not give a fuck and do dumb shit? I would hope anyone hired to these positions wouldn't, though. So I am in general on board, but just got to bring up the potential there.
I've got some perspective here, and have had some engagement with this. I had a bench trial where basically Kyle Pred had towed a police vehicle from within the motor pool area of PD from this like yellow marked area, and basically like they were never he was never trespassed by the officers who were there, so I didn't find him guilty on it, right? Because they never like gave him like a lawful order of any kind. They were just like, please stop, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe put your big boy pants on and say, hey, get the fuck off of PD property, we're trespassing you, get away from our car, something like that. So in the sense of like making it clear that if the owner of the PD vehicle comes up to you and says, hey, get away from my car, that's a lawful order that has been issued that needs to be fucking acknowledged. I'm good with that, but like there are several circumstances I could think of where there's an abandoned PD vehicle in the street that should otherwise just be dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's an absence of officers, right? It needs whatever gets discussed needs to account for that, because that should not fall into the wrong hands out of negligence due to anything we put forward.
Thoughts on that side is that you guys do have kind of a method already to defer this from happening, and just keeping the lights on per se, right?
Yeah, but what we were talking about is turning the lights off because we needed to clear traffic as we were doing cleanup for a scene.
Yeah, and then the ambulance example as well, right? Like, do they have their lights on any second they're parked up waiting? That
Yeah, I mean,
it gets a little obnoxious.
I mean, the bottom line is our job is to do what? Is to protect people, right? Keep people safe. And when it gets to the point where if keeping my lights on is going to cause more harm and going to keep less people safe, then yeah, I should flip them off, let traffic clear before I turn them back on. Right? Because now all of a sudden I know there's at least one active pursuit going on because the pursuit has left the robbery. We're doing cleanup of the original scene. And then now if they come back around and there's a bunch of cars piled up, I mean, it's very easy to see a world where this guy comes back into a pursuit. Or the pursuit comes back around across the scene, crashed into a bunch of cars. You got this big ass pile up. Civilians are hurt. There's a damn fire. Who knows if there's a damn tanker that comes by? I mean, it's just a disaster waiting to happen.
So let me make a quick suggestion with this, and I agree with what you're saying that because a lot of the population we have out here is uncontrollable around lights and sirens at times. They just love to rubberneck, right?
Uh-huh.
And I don't want to like explicitly say no, but if you are in the vicinity of the vehicle, then I think that you should not have it towed, right? So not that you're completely exempt for it, but if you're in the vicinity, they should still, yes, have to confirm with you. If it's abandoned, that's fine, right? But I don't think they should be doing it, at least if you're next to it.
Okay. So at least there's a communication with the police officer.
Correct. Or they should 311, can I tow this?
And then what would be a
That's not
reasonable amount of time
terrible.
to not get a response? Like 2 minutes? 1
Well, I
minute?
have no idea. I mean, that's up to y'all. I don't know what y'all's
I mean, I'm
311 like response times are.
I mean, I'm pretty aggressive about that shit. I mean, I would say 1 minute personally, but maybe 2 minutes is more reasonable. I don't know.
my appeal if you guys
Holy
could
shit!
Oh my
how loud is
God.
this
Oh my
thing?
God.
Somebody-
Oh, no.
How is he back?
Not it.
It's probably from the. Could it be from the bench trial downstairs?
You know what? That some bitch's voices finds a way to carry. It probably is.
Maybe.
Why the fuck is Bobby Charles phoning me?
Oh my god.
No, he is outside. I hear.
What the fuck do you want?
Oh.
No, I'm in the fucking council meeting. I'm not bringing up your appeal panel, you bellend. I'm in the middle of a fucking meeting. Sorry about that.
Your Bobby Charles calls have already started.
Oh, they've never stopped.
I'm sorry for you. It'll get worse.
So, let me make a quick note. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, absolutely. Again, just to echo what's already been said, it should be very clear it's a lawful order if a cop says "Get away from my car." Period.
Absolutely.
And if they fail to comply, I think at that point you're doing criminal negligence and intentionally hindering the administration of justice. I would say that you could get them with obstruction if you wanted to, misdemeanor obstruction. Like there's tools already within a police officer's arsenal to address these issues.
Okay. So I'll get something written up. Maybe we can set a legislation for that. And there's some sort of penalty if they tow it without any sort of communication.
Yeah, drop something up. We
Okay.
can look at
I'll
that
work on
next
something for the
meeting.
next one. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll work on that next time.
Cool.
Questions I've had from within the PD. People have asked a lot about weapons licenses, guns, any sort of registering of DNA when getting a weapons license. Is that
What?
do y'all think that would be reasonable?
No.
Okay.
No.
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 Simple.
No.
Okay. Well, good. I'm all good on that. I just thought just doing right by my people.
Well, that's
and
fair.
let
I
them
know.
I asked the question.
I know Dakota brought a similar thing to me, and wanted government employees to have DNA on file. I understand from the PD side, it makes things significantly easier. So I do sympathize with that. But I have heard many a concern of government employees not wanting that.
Okay. I for the record, I do agree. Just doing right by my folks.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Other questions were any sort of like voluntary gun registry when getting a weapons license. Would that be deemed acceptable in y'all's eyes if the PD had at least a voluntary gun registry where folks could officially come voluntarily register their guns whenever they get their weapons license?
I think if we maybe
I-
entertain a discount on that weapon license, if they're doing that.
That wouldn't be terrible. if they
Good
did.
idea.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
that
a
is an
great
option,
idea.
right?
Pretty
Yeah,
decent.
what's up, Alex?
So Slacks was supposed to do this whole weapons license training class where that was supposed to happen, and they would. And
remember hearing
there's
something
been no
about that
word
6
about
weeks ago.
that. Yeah, there's been no word on whether he's even like made a move to start that or not.
Okay.
Like
Well,
firearms instruction course, right?
So that actually leads to my next point. How do y'all feel about requiring a firearms training with a police officer that has to sign off on it?
Well, the idea of it was supposed to be that they would get a discount if they went through that firearms training course. That
I
was
like a
supposed to be the whole
discount if you
appeal of
get it. Yeah,
and
that's
it's already
not
been
bad.
approved too.
Well, if we have a discount here, well, the problem for the PD now is if there's a discount on the weapons license, then we have to take an officer to do firearms training, and we have to pull him off patrol, and we have to have him doing paperwork and stuff. Not just paperwork, but actually doing training of a civilian. And our patrol, just full transparency, can be kind of weak at times. And I know it's not many people a day getting weapons licenses, but I think there needs to be something for the PD as well, as far as having like a firearms training. I think the PD should be getting paid as part of their budget or something. If there's
Agree.
like, I think there needs to be something there.
Also, additionally, the officer who was going to be doing that training was supposed to get the other part of that cut. So that discount, they would be getting that discount essentially.
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time? My hearing aids were.
So a regular weapons license is 25,000. It would be reduced down to 20,000 if they took the class, but the person who would be training that or them on that would be getting that $5,000 that from the top.
Okay, so then where does the discount come in for the?
So when they are charged for the weapons license, they would be paying 20,000, and then the officer who would train them would receive 5,000
From
on
who?
verification. The state.
Okay, so would that be something that goes to TJ?
What's up?
How would we get the 5,000 per firearms training?
As in
So-
you administering it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
let's say I administer firearms training.
Mhm.
They are charged $20,000, and
Mhm.
then they get discounted 5,000, and then an additional 5,000 is then given to the
So
officer.
that 5,000 that wasn't charged to them is given to the officer upon verification. There was supposed to be a contract involved that would prove that that officer did that, and if it was on the list of approved officers from Slacks, it would be okay for them to get that money from. I imagine it would be like somebody like Cream paying them out, or I guess TJ.
Yeah, so I have no problem doing that on like a weekly basis. If that's what the council decides that they want to do for all that, I have no problem being able to do that. All you had to do is just slowly send me if y'all got a document, spreadsheet, something, whatever it is. Sorry, I'm a spreadsheet guy, so it's keeping it organized. And
Bobby Charles, if you call one more member of this council, I'm going to tell the mayor to disband DOC forever. Okay, leave us alone.
Oh, good
Yeah.
one. That's
The only
one.
problem with that is Slacks has made like zero effort to actually like put together something.
well, Barnwood, do you have anyone else that could possibly run that?
Here's what I
I'll-
suggest.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
There you go.
Cletus. Yeah.
That's simple as that.
Okay. Slacks, for the record, Slacks has spoken with me about it. Like he said he's had this idea for a while, so it's not like he just kept it to himself. But it's a continuation of his original idea that I was expanding upon. But I can handle it.
I think it could do to be simplified a little bit in order to be more effective, but overall, I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it's like a luxury discount thing, so it can be a little complicated.
Okay. So I'll write up a proper legislation for that. And we can work on that for. I mean, is that the appropriate way to do this? I mean, should I have something written up for our next meeting for this, or should we just start working
Yes.
on this right away? Okay. Next thing, and there's a lot of stuff I don't have anything written up beforehand because it's my first meeting here. I want to make sure just ask first and get stuff figured out. Next bullet point. I want to work on a legislation. Excuse me.
Oh God, I thought he
called
was going
the
to say registration.
Oh,
I
no.
got concerned. More moms.
regulated protection checks. Okay. Now, this regulated protection check would make it illegal to ride a motorcycle without a helmet. We've had a lot of people
We've
having.
actually brought that up here before. It
Oh,
got
really?
shut
Okay.
down, but this is a new administration, so maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been incredibly dangerous. Seeing folks flying around 170 miles an hour. They don't got helmets on. Some guys got a
True.
damn cloth mask on. We know masks don't do shit in the first place. Why you wearing it, right? There's some officers that came up with the idea. Hey, if you're riding a motorcycle, shouldn't you be wearing a helmet in the first place? So, yeah.
Okay.
There's that as well. Do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about that?
I'll be honest. What's the benefit to making it illegal to have a no helmet on a bike? Like, what is the goal of this
benefit
legislation?
To
Well, I mean, it's for their health,
show both
right?
sides.
Right.
It's for their health, and
let's
also
be honest. You come
that
flying off a
money goes
bike,
to the
and
state
I say
account.
this as someone who has a bike
Sure.
and regularly wear a helmet. In fact, I never ride it without a helmet. You fly off that bike, I'm going to hospital either fucking way. So, what is the legislation's actual purpose? Is it to generate additional income, or is it to mandate safety?
A bit of both. It still could help, right? You might get fucked up coming off that bike either way, but protecting your head is important.
Yeah,
I mean,
look,
ultimately, like, I mean, that would come down to personal. If someone chooses not to wear a helmet, they're going to get fucked up. That's on them.
Only the Fonz looks cool on a motorcycle without a helmet on, and
Yeah,
he
I mean,
still wears a motorcycle helmet half the time.
I agree. It's a safety concern. Do I think it needs legislation? No.
Yeah, I mean, the main points being the safety in general, having the. I mean, if we can reduce some of the foot traffic in the hospital, given the maybe lighter numbers at times, right?
But my point being, you won't. Mandating helmets won't reduce injuries from motorcycle incidents.
Okay.
Again, own a bike, wear a helmet every time, and I'm in hospital a lot.
Okay. The next point, I think this is a Chief Justice Crane thing. I got two more points that are probably Chief Justice Crane things, but the attempted murder of a government employee.
Hold on.
Yeah, Cletus.
One method, or not method, protocol is we like to discuss stuff here, and if you still feel strongly about something, even if your discussion has been negative or you've received pushback, like in the form of Solomon, which is totally valid, you can still put something to a vote if you feel like that it should be done.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear everybody on the motorcycle helmets, because, like, honestly, I don't see a problem with it. I think it's one of those things, one of those small things that could really be a boon when there's not a lot of enforcement opportunities. See someone on a motorcycle without a helmet, get a chance to pull them over, see what they're up to. Give them a little citation, maybe even just give them a warning. But I don't see the harm or even how it could possibly be misused overwhelmingly.
I will say that my wife and I we voted for the DRIP Act. We voted for, there's one other uniform-esque one or whatever.
Vehicle mandate.
Yeah. And it would be in line for us to vote on something like this as well. So we would vote yes on this.
I always wear a helmet.
My helmet saves my life.
I'm too scared to ride a bike.
That's
What about
because
you?
you see us when we come in from falling off of
That's true. I
ours.
do see them injured, so I can at least vouch for that. I see many injuries because.
What
of
do you
these
think? What do you think,
damn
TJ?
So few thoughts with this. As someone that has been subject in the past to what used to be the mask mandate, and how that can be a thing. The option to wear a helmet, I'm indifferent with it. I do think if even at low speeds, if that has a possibility of saving someone, then that's better for
I
sure.
believe it does in that front. Yeah.
Um, on the other side, yeah, it will probably kill you if you're going, at 80, 90 miles an hour. That's not a problem. I do think it is an opportunity for PD to have a conversation with someone about it. Do I think it should automatically go to a fine? Probably not, but I'm not opposed to it. I think it should just be like a hey, reminder: wear a bike, kids, or wear a helmet, kids. That type of shit. Sorry, I'm on like 4 hours of sleep.
It's all good. Thank you both for
worry.
being here. By the way, I know this is
Yeah.
a hard time.
Yeah,
Relax, it's so good. It's important. So
yeah. So
What about with scooters though?
oh,
I
fuck
mean,
those
it's
guys.
still technically a bike.
I think it would still, I think it still count if we were to do
Two-wheelers.
this. Yeah. You're still open to the risk of potentially being hit by another vehicle, for example, even if you're not going too fast.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I was thinking maybe motorized two-wheeled vehicles. I mean, like a bicycle. And you could argue. I mean, I wouldn't care either way. But if y'all want to add bicycles to that,
No.
I think bicycle might be a bit overkill. Yeah.
okay.
I can see that, but yeah.
Though,
Cleus,
to be fair, a bike is still considered an automotive.
So
can you make a council document outlining like what this would look like in the penal code and stuff? Like, can you write up a brief description? It's sort of like what Cantor did with the that was you, right? The fucking the ERP one? Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Similar to that. And kind of like write how you think it should read. I mean, ultimately, that's an important thing to actually mention. The Chief Justice holds sole purview over the penal code and allows the Council of Eight, depending on his mood. Well, actually, he's been pretty reasonable about hearing us.
He's been really nice.
Making changes to the penal code. Ultimately, it's his final purview. So what we do is we make suggestions and then he will let us vote on it and blah blah blah. Moving forward, and I don't want to say this to discourage anybody. One mistake I think that we made in the first council is that we focused a lot on trying to make adjustments to the penal code as opposed to innovating, I suppose. That said, Cleus, you're a cop, so I even in Dakota's case, I will give him a pass for suggesting changes to the penal code because you deal so heavily with the penal code that this is something relevant to the police department, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. This is just a general reminder that moving forward, the penal code can be a low hanging fruit. Let's try to aim for the higher ones. That said, I super want to vote yes on this, and if you can get something written up, then we can do a vote right now.
Okay. I got it in there right now. The rider protection check. It is illegal to ride a motorcycle, ATV, or other cabinless vehicle without a helmet. The helmet does not have to be worn if the motorcycle or if the vehicle is not in motion.
Okay.
Oh, I love that actually.
What do you think for a fine?
I don't think it needs to be a big fine. Maybe
250?
Yeah, 250. 250 is good.
Is there a way
200?
we can require that the rider be issued a warning prior to beginning a citation? Is that even possible with our tag system and all that? Like in terms
So
of because I know I've been given a warning and it's shown up in my MDT is why I'm at.
They do that for traffic stops.
we do have traffic warnings. There's a tag for traffic warnings. If we add a rider protection check tag, we could do that.
I added in this does not include bicycles into the thingy just so.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Okay, so $200 fine.
Yeah, I think $200 fine. Maybe no jail time, 1 point on your record.
I don't know. I don't know if we should do
I don't know about points.
It's not even
You don't want to
like
do
maybe
points?
not
Okay.
vehicle points, maybe head point.
Okay. No,
He,
that's
he,
fine.
mean, he means license points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
I
I'm
was
making a
talking
joke.
about.
It's like maybe
Oh.
not points on your
Oh,
license,
oh.
but points on your fucking dome piece protection. I don't know.
Yeah.
When this is brought forth, Cleese can definitely put forward that, issuing a warning first. Like this is like literally
That's like a
this.
discretion thing.
Yeah, it's discretion, and this is also traffic law stuff essentially, which a lot of officer discretion is already exercised there, usually for the good of the person that they're pulling over. Like they'll warn them for speeding, so on and so forth. And just as long as Cleese is able to demonstrate, hey, this is just another addition to traffic law, then I think pretty sure that police will get the memo and issue a warning for this.
I suspect Crane will know exactly what time it is too, and he'll be good with it.
So I'm going to change one more thing here. It is
Okay.
illegal to. Now, how do y'all want to approach this? It is illegal to ride or operate a motorcycle, or it is illegal to operate or have a passenger in a motorcycle. Is the driver going to be getting
Oh my
fined for both of
God.
them?
Nah.
Okay,
Good
so case by
question,
case.
Cornwood. That's a great question.
The responsibility is on the person that chose not to wear a helmet, so you would be issuing the fine to the person that doesn't have the helmet on, right?
Okay, so it is illegal to operate or ride a motorcycle, ATV, or other cabinless vehicle without a helmet.
Sounds good.
Here's the thing, Cornwood, is you cannot, at least currently, you cannot, as the owner of the motorcycle, make sure or ensure, right, that like you have an extra helmet for a passenger.
Yeah, no,
So
good point. Good point. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I put motorized cabinless vehicle. Just to
Perfect.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's good.
Okay. No.
What?
Where were we before everyone passed out due to carbon monoxide poisoning?
Cornwood's list
Oh.
of PD stuff.
Yeah, rider protection check. We did a vote for that. Did we actually? No, did we do a vote?
We didn't do a vote.
No, we didn't. We were starting a vote. I added one more thing. I said this doesn't apply to water vehicles, so you don't have to wear a helmet on a jet ski.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
I mean, I think that covers all our bases.
Okay, so would you like to put it up for a vote?
Yep, let's do it. Let's vote on it.
What do you vote?
I vote yes that that this does pass.
Mr. Braun?
Yay.
Miss Siobhan?
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mr. Solomon?
No.
Okay. Miss
Yeah.
Cantor?
Yeah, fine with me.
Okay. Cleese, can you note down who voted what in the thing that you just wrote up at the bottom?
Okay, so everybody but Solomon was a yes.
Yeah,
Correct.
and the Chief Justice is
Alan is,
abstained because he's not here.
That.
Oh yeah, let me put that in mind.
And as previously stated, he would have final purview over that. He's basically got veto power over this.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a good way
Okay.
to put it, actually. I don't think
That's
I would see him necessarily vetoing.
I don't
this.
foresee that. This is what I refer to as a real policing type charge. So
Okay.
you know, pay attention to those first two
Right.
letters.
Do you have anything else
Okay.
you'd like to present?
Yeah.
These two I think are absolutely Chief Justice Crane things. One of them was about one of them was about the attempted murder of a government employee charge. Folks were asking for it to be higher, and then also criminal use of a firearm was not a felony, and it was causing some sort of confusion. So I'm going to save that for whenever Chief Justice Crane is here. And then beyond that, I think it's pretty much on. Well, this one really has more to do with y'all, Mayor Thoroughbred, with the
Okay.
police continuity plan.
Okay.
So I mean I think that's more in your court.
I will comment on the police continuity plan. So my intention moving forward is to open up the sheriff's office, utilizing the PCP, and to establish the sheriff's office as it being its own chain of command, which creates some issues because the commissioner has not been selected yet. The commissioner has not been selected and cannot be selected because the PCP is not currently active. 1, 2, there isn't a cop capable of doing the commissioner role right now. At least in a way that I personally would find satisfactory. And that's just based on all of my many interactions with the various cops, witnessing how they've interacted with the DOJ, witnessing how they've reacted to stuff on the street, so on and so forth. As a result, having two different chains of command has the potential for huge strife. And so what I wanted to, well, first of all, I don't think I can present PCP without Alan here because I need his insight on a couple of things. One of them primarily being, until a commissioner is selected, if there ever was an unresolvable dispute between the sheriff of the sheriff's office and the chief of police, that the mayor would act as a mediator to like sort out the issue between these two chains of command and to allow for a final decision to be made so that it doesn't at the end of the day, the children yearn for the sheriff's office. At the end of the day, based on what I've seen and what I've heard, and what I've exercised myself, is that the only motivator for activity for any government job is morale. That's it. Morale manifests in different ways. The primary way that it could manifest right now is by way of the sheriff's office being opened. There are cops who identify as deputies and not officers. There are police officers who they are very keen on being able to wear a different uniform, and ultimately that is what it would be, because the sheriff's office would be operating in the city as well. Our current police department does not have the numbers or units to be able to justify, for example, the sheriff's office operating on a different base channel, like radio channel, or not ever entering the city to help respond to calls, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, the existence of a sheriff's office serves two purposes. One, it gives them that uniform and hat that they so crave. Two, it will allow for, I don't know how to put this delicately. Allow me a moment to find the words for this
Just
one.
say flat out.
Go ahead.
There exists different styles and schools of thought when it comes to police work. It stands to reason that whoever would be elected sheriff, it would be a public election. That was even something that the three captains of the LSPD were looking to have happen, and something that we've pretty much agreed would be the case should the sheriff's office be declared open, courtesy of the PCP being continued. There are different schools and styles of police work. It stands to reason that if someone is elected sheriff, that they might be able to offer a different perspective on how that police work should be carried out. And it's this different perspective that might help solve the current issue that the LSPD is currently facing. And that is, they are not effective. Not by any means. And that is due to a number of reasons. One, numbers. Two, the motivation to get out there and do something other than sitting around Legion Square and handing out speeding tickets. And at the end of the day, this is probably something that should have happened a while ago, and I got hung up because I was trying to solve the chain of command issue. The first suggestion that I made was that the sheriff would be equal in power to the assistant chief, so that the current chief of police would be allowed to make final decisions. That ended up being kind of cumbersome. The next solution was to appoint a commissioner. In my searching and witnessing, there is not anyone qualified for that position, in my opinion. I could be wrong. So the thing that the principle that I and my wife and a lot of people, even Cantor, that we like to exercise, that the first hurdle that we as the Council of Eight, the first term had to overcome was this. We couldn't get hung up on what ifs. We couldn't get hung up on, oh, what if the sheriff and the chief of police refuse to work together? Getting hung up on what ifs and hypotheticals is antithetical to actual effective forward moving change. And as a result of that, I decided last night, after speaking with Cletus and hearing his thoughts again for the 10th time on the sheriff's office,
I think it was
that
11.
that establishing the sheriff's office, which would be the primary purpose of reenacting PCP, would serve the simple purpose of raising morale. And raising morale is and should be the primary concern of pretty much any government worker head, like division head, right? And I know that this is potentially a, what's the word? I'm literally struggling to find the word. This is a contentious example. When I lowered doctor and EMS pay, and this wasn't anything that I had foreseen, because before this, I had believed that raising pay equaled higher activity, and Cantor did say for the record that this did not necessarily increase activity hours. But what I saw, what I saw when I went to the hospital is, I saw like 5 or 6 or 7 doctors like all talking to each other and hanging out and like becoming reacquainted, and like it had the unintended effect of creating a even if somewhat briefly stronger community. And I think that opening the sheriff's office could do something like that for the police department currently. Sorry,
solidarity, is that the word you're looking for?
Yes.
I don't disagree to the morale thing. I think pay is one factor of that maybe, but I agree that is kind of the thing that keeps people around. You got that right.
So I just wanted to get this out of the way now, because I don't think we can vote on this without Alan here. I will say that he has shown interest in the last meeting in continuing the PCP if I were reelected. That said, he has to be here for that to be voted on, which sucks, because it was my intention to immediately afterwards push for the sheriff elections. I can speak with Alan. Unfortunately, I think we have to wait until next week.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Alan was sick.
I do have one question real quick. That's okay.
Yeah.
I actually like the sheriff's office. I've talked with Gordon about it. So that part, no concerns to bring up. However, in taking a look at this, you're all about not preventing issues before they've occurred. So what the hell did Michael do so wrong to take the deputy mayor out of the PCP?
Oh, we took that out because the idea of the PCP is to afford the mayor, as it basically greenlights me to directly contact the state about issues that might be prevalent, because the way that was exercised before is, issues that are prevalent in these government branches do not get brought up if they benefit certain people. Alternatively, they are never brought up until it is a super issue that requires a nuclear action from the federal government to come down and be like, okay, why the fuck have you guys been doing this way for this fucking long? Essentially, it is a way for me to light the signal fire and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Michael never had to do that. The inclusion of the deputy mayor in that initial act served no purpose in practice and would only bog the process down moving forward, because let me tell you right now, getting a hold of these motherfuckers is already hard enough for one person. Having 2 people trying to get in contact with them for the same purpose is ultimately overkill and does not serve any true purpose, in my opinion.
Wouldn't it make more sense that when you aren't around, let's be honest, me and you do seem to keep very different schedules, that if the deputy mayor was also on the PCP, they can act on your behalf, which is one of the duties of the deputy mayor, and thus feed to you the goings on and enact for you to the PD when you are not around. Thus, it's not both of us trying to go up the same chain, but rather me operating on your behalf and then feeding up to you. So then you, as a singular, can then go up the chain.
The problem is, what if we disagree?
So, I mean, if I may, as law enforcement liaison, the PCP originally was only intended to be around for the first term of the mayoral.
The sunset
Uh,
clause.
Yeah, so there was a sunset clause in there at the end of the first term, and really there was no intention originally of extending it. What's happened so far in the last 5 months, the city being open back up, the government opening back up, I think it has had a lot of movement, ups, downs, lefts, rights, you name it. And there's a lot of different experiences that come with that. And I really don't, and this is coming from the perspective of someone who's been there for the whole thing. It's a lot to put on somebody's shoulders. It's a lot of responsibility to give to any one person who hasn't been there for that entire time. So I think just being 100% honest, to have anybody other than Mayor Thoroughbred involved in a continuation of the PCP, or anybody else who hasn't been there from the very beginning, through and through, I don't think it makes sense to have them on it.
I will say that the original vision of the deputy mayor, in regards to the actual mayor, and this kind of got fucked up the first time around because Michael and I ended up aligning on a lot of things. You and I, Solomon, do not align on much. I mean,
Are you sure about that? We've not had a conversation yet.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm going solely based off of your campaign posters, which proposed the dissolution of Dogtown, which is something that I pushed for, PD reform, which implied that the PCP had failed. There were a lot of things that I personally, I did not think that we would agree on it, which is a good thing.
I'm going to ask you a quick question. Do you think no more police reform is done, and that we are now at a point where the PD is at a stable state and there's no more oversight or direction from the mayor's office?
It totally does.
So we agree. We both agree that PD reform is ongoing.
No, I'm not trying to say that it's a bad thing that we. I'm trying to show you what my initial impressions were. The point is, the way that mayoral election was supposed to work is that the majority of voters would have a voice in the form of the mayor, and then the other group of people that voted for end up voting for second place would be representing those people. Okay, so that together, even if our opinions differed from each other, we would be representing the majority simply by presenting different viewpoints and whatnot. And that is important because the deputy mayor, in regards to the original vision that Alan Crane and Lila Wright had when they conceived of the Council of Eight, is that we would be opposing parties. And that functionally, us working together on this might not be possible, and has the potential to be bogged down by games of telephone, and it has the potential to slow down the process, so to speak. I have a direct line right now to the federal government. I'm not saying that you couldn't have a direct line to the federal government. I know what needs to be done. Michael didn't do anything. In fact, I don't know why deputy. It's not that he didn't want to do anything. It was that I had to say, hey, and he wasn't super aggro about it, but occasionally a suggestion would come across the table where he was like, we should do this about the hair color stuff that was going on in the PD for a little bit. I was like, listen, that's not necessarily our purview. We are here to, like I said, light the signal fire. So that's why deputy mayor was removed from that, because
okay, so I don't mean to cut you off, but if the last deputy mayor was inactive and didn't do much with it, I don't think you should be judging any following or subsequent deputy mayors based on the actions or inactions of the previous one.
I just want to address something you said, Solomon, real quick. The position that carries out the mayor's goals on a day-to-day basis, acting as an evangelist for their principals when they're not around, is the chief of staff.
I didn't say that.
It was just something you're saying that about representing him when he's not around. That's me.
Ian, you also are around when he
but
is,
yeah, you're,
and not
you're
when
also
I am.
not in that. And yeah,
So
both points are very valid.
What I've experienced is that there isn't really an issue that would require you to address, or even an issue that, like, the only pressing issue I think I ever addressed, courtesy of the PCP, was making sure that the Captain Ruth. Oh my God, Cornwood could explain this perfectly if he wanted to. The only thing that I did, and it was technically out of the scope of the PCP. Technically, I overstepped in overruling Cornwood's firing because there had been a Cornwood. You can explain it perfectly.
Well, I'm gonna explain it in as few words as I possibly can. There was there was definitely some targeting that occurred due to my style of policing being perceived to be a certain way. However, I think we can all agree and we can all see from the outside perspective, and what really matters is how the people in the city, how they perceive how I'm doing my work. Right, bottom line, and eventually it led to me receiving a suspension. It led to me receiving a indefinite suspension upon review. Over the course of that suspension, it was learned to actually, and even after the fact, there was some shady shit going on involving my suspension that should not have led to me getting suspended. And then finally,
saying what happened is important for why I stepped in.
Okay.
So what was the shady shit?
There was times where I received disciplinary action for things that were either didn't actually happen, things that things that were misconstrued, or stories were left out, like reports were left unchanged when they should have been changed, which actually led to me receiving that final DAP, which then led to me being suspended in the first place right before my other DAPs were going to fall off. It's the whole thing, right? DAPs that were not a part of the SOPs. But then the final straw, I guess, whenever Mayor Thoroughbred stepped in, was whenever there was a review panel amongst the senior officers. What at the time was seen as command. And there was not a single officer in that meeting, other than Captain Slacks, who voted for me to not be fired. There was not a single other officer who was a part of my shift that I interact with the most. There were two other seniors brought in who had very little to do with me.
Who were promoted by?
One of which was promoted by Captain Ruth. The other one was promoted, I believe, by Captain Turner, and Alice Watson voted to keep me. In fact, I spoke with Alex Watson afterwards, and supposedly Alice Watson gave him a mouthful and said, "What the hell are y'all doing here?" That's why Alice Watson's a sergeant now, is because she knows what the hell she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically there was a situation where it was pretty obviously stacked against me to get fired, and then that's whenever Mayor Thoroughbred stepped in, and he flipped Captain Ruth's vote to be that of whatever Captain Slack's vote would be, which led it to be a majority vote in terms of me staying. So that's as few words as I can do.
That was as few? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I know, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That was the opposite of a few. Anyway, I think as the mayor mentioned before, this is something to be tabled for when Chief Justice Crane is around.
Right.
I will make the same points to him when he's in the room as I'm making now, but I think we're going to all waste a lot of valuable time if we go around the room discussing it when we've already decided he needs to be here to discuss it anyway.
Sure.
One small question.
My hope was that we would be able to kind of get on the same page before it actually goes to the table next time, so that it doesn't take as long as it, because the first time we brought this up, it took like 2.5 hours to get through. Yeah, TJ, what's up?
So by technicality, yeah, it's sunsetted out and it's not active at this point. So, something just to think about before the next meeting and have those discussions is obviously when you're not there, and when that goes away. By technicality, is the chief of police actually not even a thing at this point?
No.
No, it is a thing.
Well, because it was appointed.
Sorry. I meant yes. The chief of police does not
GPS
answer.
Commissioner, no. Yeah.
So, just as a forward-thinking side to it, when this goes away, the power to be reinstated or power to be stated back to whoever it needs to be should be entered into that legislation there.
Okay. If you have any suggestions, you can just write, make up a new document, and then close any holes. I'm certainly open to that.
So, well, here's my question.
Yeah.
What is the concern with instead of it saying deputy mayor and mayor, it's saying just the mayor? Like, what is the baseline concern with only the mayor being on there?
As I mentioned, the mayor cannot be around for 24 hours a day. That is physically impossible. And me and him occupy wildly different schedules. I would also argue that in a matter like the PD, and I think me and the mayor would probably agree on a lot more reference to PD than either of us thought we would when we first walked into a room together. But it is my belief that I think sole oversight over the PD, given it is a 24-hour department, is not the best course of action for the department. And I would also argue that, I've got no intention of kicking things up, crossing over communication paths, which the mayor mentioned was an issue before. And in fact, working as closely with you, Mr. Mayor, as humanly possible on this. And I think if you were to give me an opportunity on this, I think you would be surprised at just how well we would work together.
Also, Shift 1, according to y'all, seems to need the help, so might as well get
I would
someone who can
also
watch
state
it.
that is very true.
Shift 1 needs a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
Sure does.
that one might be harder to get.
But that's the thing, though. We aren't supposed to be like an active presence, and I the whole reason I brought the Cornwood situation was to highlight that should have been cause for reprimand for me. That we're just trying to
facilitate movement,
right. Which is why I don't think 24-hour coverage needs or is necessary. I don't think there's ever going to be an issue that would require 24-hour watching, and that anything that did happen would be able to be addressed by one person alone, which I can confirm because I was the one person alone for the last 3 months. That's my point. Like Solomon said, we are going to keep going in circles on this probably. So we can move on and table this until next week. Cletus, did you have anything else?
Nope. Next week.
Mr. Braun.
All right. I got a couple of things. The lawyers have brought me quite a few bits of feedback here and there. The main one, which, Mr. Mayor, I don't think this is actionable on your end, but I do want to air it out, is apparently you can kind of make adjustments to the penal code, and maybe Cornwood can speak to this too. Lawyers and cops are having trouble syncing up on the times and fines in the MDT right now. So again, you might not be able to do something about this, but I just want to air it out and see what people have to say.
I can do a temporary fix. And what that would be is that the state will have to pay more money to. Okay, so let me explain how this works. The mayor's office has the ability to adjust times and fines, and it's supposed to be reflected in real time in the MDT. What's happening is that the MDT is originally and initially showing the correct time and fine when you first add the charges to a person's MDT profile, when you're in the incident report and you're processing them. What happens at some point, I forget what triggers it, it defaults back to the original values before they were adjusted. And that's what's getting fucked up. So what I could do is I can go and what will happen is the fines will be lower and the time will be higher, which will then make it so that the MDT will no longer be switching between these two values. And that is the fix that I can do. So it is actionable.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay. This
Because
is.
because what I'm hearing is that both police and lawyers are having trouble with this, and it's making cell reps like really difficult and stuff. So if there's a workaround, that's awesome.
There is a workaround right now. And what that is as soon as the cop adds the charges, they take a picture of the value and the fine value and the time value, and that number is technically the correct number. But I'm gonna go fix that right now.
Wait, hold on. What's the correct number? The in the charges or in the whenever you go back and forth is the correct one.
The values are changing after you've been in the MDT for a certain amount of time, and I'm pretty sure they're changing in both the incident report and the actual charges.
Okay.
So both numbers can be right and wrong depending on what state of the MDT you're in.
I can speak to this because I spoke to the IT guy last night after a situation with the lawyer.
No.
So I was told the charges are likely changing because of something that's happening with your newfound powers over the last month,
right?
Mary Thoroughbred. So because that is changing, it is affecting the numbers whenever you place them into the incident. However, whenever you leave, save it like 10 times and then save the report like 10 times just to make sure it's all saved. Save charges, then report saved, then you back out into the incident and then you go back into the incident itself. So back to the incidents tab, back to the incident itself, and then you have the proper time and fine.
No, the proper time and fine is the one that's supposed to be added initially.
And the proper time and fine is the one that should be added initially. However, it's adding a number that is a higher fine and a time that is lower than what it should be.
Yeah, because that's what I said it to.
Oh, so you did change it?
Yeah, it's been changed for like months.
Okay, well the IT guy told me otherwise. So
yeah, he didn't know.
Okay, so
yeah, I'll go set it to default values for now until that we can get confirmation that it's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the record, I think that the less time, more fines is much better.
Agree.
And in the meantime,
I agree.
Cornwood, if the workaround isn't like that successful, or if we can't fix it, as long as everybody knows like your workaround kind of on the PD end, it'll probably make things easier for lawyers and stuff. Because when they're
okay,
I don't know. When they're down there, both sides are having trouble figuring out what's going on. That's what I've been hearing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna shoot an email to that IT guy real quick and give him an update because I think there's a confusion.
And obvious.
Yeah, because he
obviously with an IT issue, there's only so much everyone can do. But yeah, if there are workarounds, I feel like everybody should know about it somehow.
Yeah, so I guess if he sets it back to what it used to be, regardless, then we'll roll with that, and then it'll just work for now. But I'm gonna let the IT guy know because he might be looking for a problem in the reverse of what it's supposed to be. Because based on what he told me, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get sorted out. I just want everybody to know like what the correct number is all.
Listen, I'm just happy I can now reference the fact that I only spent 33 years or 33 days in prison now, not 33 years, okay?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't that bad after all,
Nice.
30 days. We can all handle that.
Yeah, sure.
Congratulations.
You are
I
legally
voted no to that one. I got you.
It should be default values now.
All right.
I don't know if it is updated. Try resetting your MDT.
Okay.
I don't know if this is an effect that takes place after the storm, or if it is something that can be live changed.
I do not have firsthand experience aside from when someone pointed out that they had been changing in general. After which I found out that you could change them, and that was like normal. But now there's conflict in what different people are seeing. That's what I'm bringing up now. So I don't really know what I'm looking for necessarily.
They're back to default values now.
Yeah,
Looks like.
failure to signal should be $60. It was 75 before because of the 25% increase. That was just like my base one that I always used to figure out what it was at.
But yeah, that was just the first piece of major feedback that I got, like the most pressing one from amongst the lawyers. The other stuff, a lot of it sounds like just stuff I need to follow up with Malton's paperwork, but it's like inconsistencies between the number of days for a Malton request. In somebody's documentation it says 5 days, and somebody's documentation says 4 days. So I might have questions about that if there's insight, but
yeah, I got a
really.
question about the Malton process.
Yeah.
Why don't we name that the Murphy process? Because that motherfucker didn't do shit.
Process. Yeah. I'm
no
gonna be
one's
going
safe right
through
now. You're just
all
throwing
of his
them out
stuff.
there, aren't you, Max?
I'm chasing.
God damn.
I'm chasing down all the little inconsistencies. The main question I have, maybe Cornwood or the mayor can clear up here. With the Malton requests, I'm hearing from basically lawyers that they're being told that dispatchers can honor those requests, but then when they go to get them, only certain dispatchers are able to fulfill them. But there's nothing really like that I found written about that. Does anybody know like what I'm talking about?
No clue. I've never touched all that.
So Malton never talked about any of this stuff. None of this stuff ever came up. Okay.
I know about it, but not
Honestly,
from Malton.
Not really. I don't think it was like the
Okay.
general concept I'm aware of, but I don't know the details.
Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with this stuff because like there's different numbers of days being referenced by different departments. So I just had questions about that. The only other thing that I was told to mention, the lawyers brought up a bunch of stuff that doesn't necessarily come here, but the judges did mention that they wanted a pay increase. That is
Okay.
what the judges brought to me.
Do you think they deserve it?
I didn't have much time to think about that. The judges that brought it up to me were also sort of being very adversarial with me at the time. So mostly saying that I hadn't done enough for them yet and that they need more money. That's about all they've contributed. The lawyers have given me a lot of valuable feedback. The judges basically told me to go fuck myself and that they want more money. Hi, judges.
So
damn.
Can I just, when it comes to the money side to it, obviously everyone's going to want more money. Like that's inevitable, right? I don't know how much we're at budget wise. I haven't looked at anything. I can't. Max, we probably got to talk about this at some point. By the way,
sure.
Just to see where people at.
I will say, after not investing into sanitation, the profits are through the fucking roof right now. Like super through the roof.
It's been going open market with investing over here in terms of mayoral spending. But yeah, so as long as I can get a guideline as to where we're at with things and then what we can actually play with shit, I mean, that's my only concern with blanket. Everyone wants more money. Like, can we afford that? Technically.
I will say we can afford that because most judges are lazy and do not even spend time in Los Santos.
That hurts my soul right there.
I'm sorry, but it's
I
the
like
truth.
the idea of what Cantor
like
was saying
I've seen Norman and Murphy and Anastasia occasionally. That's it.
So
I like
Alan,
what Cantor was saying about the time clock. What was that?
Yeah, we have a time clock, an external one that we all have to clock onto, so I can track all the hours. It's been that way for a long time. I just put them all into a sheet so I can get all the averages and things. I don't know how that gets set up. That was a long time before me, but it's real useful for tracking.
So Alan said to me last night that we would work on drafting up a spiff program for court. So I think that pay issue is going to be addressed without having to get into hours for judges, and at least.
Okay, so incentives.
Yeah, TBD.
He
Makes
he
sense.
was
Could be
pretty.
like based on court case or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Fuck it.
Mhm.
I mean, that makes
All
sense.
right, let's talk more about the DOJ stuff when Crane isn't feeling unwell. The only
Infirm.
other thing
Fair.
that we can talk about that I have to bring up is my initial plans about law school. I want to work mostly with Siobhan and Cornwood for the PD side of things on that, but I want to bring Mickey Sinclair into it too because he did a whole school already that was really fun for everybody. So I want to get his perspective as a lawyer, try to make it fun for everybody who wants to attend, make it inviting for people who aren't even necessarily trying to become lawyers when we do them. Try to make it approachable and applicable to a lot of different lifestyles. So that's
Great
kind
idea.
of what I have. My initial plan is based around development, trying to recruit people, get the right people in the department to make court and sell reps. uh a lot of fun to be a part of and also really productive for our city and for people's rights and freedoms. And to the topic of morale that the mayor brought up, I think it's very, very relevant topic for the DOJ right now. We got a morale problem. It's feeling a lot like lawyers versus judges. In a lot of ways, that's what it was during the election, and that's kind of carried over a little bit. I think there's a little mistrust between the two groups. And again, I'm sort of being set up in an adversarial position a little bit already. So I think we need to like iron some things out on that front. But nothing specific legislatively into week one. I had an overtime election, so
You
nothing
need
really
what you need
written.
is like a little sit down between everyone.
I need Crane to be here, to talk meaningfully on some of this stuff. But yeah, mostly just cooking up law school ideas right now.
Okay.
Trying to get some of these paralegals a more meaningful track into the system and future proof, as you put it, for lifelong learning programs, because we're in a fluid legislative environment. So lawyers need to be recertified basically over time, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like basically quarterly. I'd say quarterly reviews would be pretty good for the legal profession at this
Is that something that you would want to do yourself, or
it would coincide with the law school.
okay?
So basically, I'm designing this position that I'm in to synergize in a bunch of different ways. So I'm a practicing attorney, right? So as a practicing attorney, I can take paralegals or new attorneys, help them with their things, help develop them, do a law school, do all this stuff at the same time. And it all carries the same concepts forward. So as far as developing attorneys and doing a law school, you would have attorneys help do the law school quarterly and at the same time recertify on current new legislation.
Okay.
So all that would, like, every 3 law schools, the lawyers would participate and they would all get like tested on the past session of new laws.
I think that's a great idea, and
I love that.
I think that's just something you can do. I don't think we have to vote on that. I don't think.
No, we don't really have to vote on that. I just wanted to like float it because I had already spoken to Siobhan about it. She's been doing law schools with the PD and etc. And Cornwood's also a lawyer. We got a lot of bar certifications on the council, so
We sure do.
anything I come up with, I'm just gonna float it and see what the lawyers have to say, basically.
A judge let me pretend to be a judge for a court case once. I got that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did that. We did
That's
that
pretty
appellate
cool.
panel thing.
They
See,
said
yeah.
that I could smurf. No, it was 5 years ago. I did a single court case all by myself.
Yeah, we did that appellate panel, the one the other with the thing the other day, right? That was like judging.
I'll be honest. If I was judging, I would have never given Mr. K the pardon. But so it was a little different.
Big L.
And I had I had discussed also briefly with the chief of staff the concept of trying to uptick cell reps a little bit, get lawyers more down in the cells, and we discussed the potential for the necessary evil of just obligatory incentives
Time off
to call a
coupons.
lawyer. Yeah, I didn't want to put it that way.
Oh,
Just obligatory incentives, yeah.
Okay.
It sucks, but
I don't think it sucks. I think
it's all what you do with it, right?
Yeah. I'm a fan of I've heard a lot about what judges have to do for court cases, courtesy of my wife. And I understand that it is a very thankless job with the potential of even being dangerous if you rule in certain ways, and making it very unhospitable for you to exist within Los Santos at certain points, depending on how you rule. I think it's probably the most thankless job, straight up, just because of all the work that goes into it. So I'm 100% for incentives. 100%.
Okay. So yeah, for the judges, but what about for the lawyers, like the cell rep thing? Like, do you think that is like, what does
Maybe-
everyone think of that? Because in the
Mm.
past, it's
How would we
been
track
it's been
that,
helpful,
I
and
guess?
then it's been helpful, but then it's like it's become just like a cliche, or for lack of a better term, it's become just a card to use.
You know what we
calm
could
down, doesn't have anything to do. You get time off.
You know
whatever.
what I was thinking? I was thinking that police officers shouldn't be allowed to negotiate charges unless a lawyer is there.
Yeah,
love
like
that idea.
Some
if we
people
can
might
if we
really
can be
hate
so
that.
bold as that, then I'm good with that. I honestly think that people really should rely on attorneys if they're available.
Would you expand it to legal aid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think the issue with that is, I mean, they have to present the charges in the first place. So just procedurally, right? It don't really make a lot of sense. Like,
Yeah, but
like, at
that's
what point do you
presenting,
lock
not
it in?
negotiation.
No, I agree, but like, what's the lock-in point? You know what I mean? Like, you present them and it's locked in. Okay, I can't talk about it no more until a lawyer's here.
Just something to think about. Something to think about.
I'm pretty against that because as an ex-cop myself, let's be honest, some of our dog shit charges and don't know anything about it, and so there are times where you do need to point that out. And there are some people around that are smart enough to go to bench trials and win them. I'm not a huge fan. Like, seriously, you just not being able to combat that or not being able to discuss it just feels, here's your shit, take it, and be on your fucking way and be done.
I think it could be good if there's like another wave of bar licenses issued. I think recently there was like 2 or 3 people given a bar.
Yeah, Alan had given a few people bars recently.
Do we have
there's
a
probably a few
rundown
more
of-
that could get them. What?
I was going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt. Do we have a rundown of how many bar certified lawyers there are throughout the day? Because what I wouldn't want to happen is that suddenly there's like a 6-hour period where anyone who gets arrested just isn't even afforded the ability to negotiate because there's no lawyers
There's
around.
been a lot of lawyers around lately.
What
I
what
actually
if
took a screenshot on my phone yesterday. There was 10 lawyers in town.
what
Wow.
if police officers weren't allowed to negotiate so long as there was a lawyer listed in the lemon list?
Ooh.
Obviously,
mean-
I'm not a criminal, but to give benefit of the doubt, I've heard people complain to me about how much their lawyer fucked them. I know some people would have strong concerns about this. I don't know if that's true. That might just be them being a fucking idiot. But I know some people would have very strong opinions about not.
I mean,
being
that
able
sounds
to
like a
there's-
bar
there's a
complaint,
few-
right?
Well, there's a few parts to this. One, just a lot of people doing crime, they don't understand the laws. and then they bitch and moan whenever. If you know the law too well, it's hard to, in good faith, like act like you're dumb as shit and that you don't know the law, right? That's just the truth. So when you have a lawyer, what happens to some of these guys? The police officer says, "Well, these are your charges because of A, B, C, D, whatever." And then they're like, "Well, I don't want that charge, so I'm going to talk to my lawyer." And the lawyer is like, "Well, you did that shit." Then they get mad at the lawyer, right? Because the lawyer explains the law to them and they don't like it. I literally had a guy
Right.
today. A guy today was complaining about shit, and then the lawyer explained to him what a Terry frisk was, and then he fired his lawyer and didn't want another lawyer.
Yeah, no, there's
Oh, no.
there's some dumb fucks. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
like
yeah.
all right, I don't want to get in too deep in theory crafting about DOJ stuff again without Crane here. So like these are just sort of like table ideas for later for the most part. Some of the stuff I don't know if we can like codify a discount for lawyers or can't negotiate without a lawyer right here and now. But I mean, those are some of the things that have been tried. I mean, Siobhan, what do you think is like the more effective approach when it comes to getting lawyers more work?
Oh God.
There's only so much they can do themselves. So like, how can we help them
Some
without
people,
doing it for?
I don't find that a time off coupon is actually like sufficient, and I don't think, I'm sorry for using that term, but I don't think that it is the right incentive for many people. It's nowhere near it's nowhere near valuable enough for them to have the longer engagement that a lawyer would take rather than getting back out there on them streets, right? Compounding that is a cultural thing. I'm not even sure that that's something that this council is prepared to do.
That's an
Yeah.
age-old problem.
Yeah,
It is a that is a it's a problem as tales old as time.
Yeah, I mean, this came up earlier, right? Look at the amount of lawyers in this room. We could put our heads together and we can figure some shit out throughout the week, right? Like let's
Yeah.
I think if anybody can figure this shit out, I think we're any group of people, I think we're among that group of people that can probably figure it out as best as anyone. So, we could do that now, or we could do that another time when we haven't been here for 5 hours. I'm up for either. Okay,
It's been a big
I just don't want to. I just
This
don't
has
want to
been a
force
big
everyone to
one.
have a conversation.
We can move on.
That's
Okay.
why I've been trying to like yield my time for
Right.
Yeah,
just, like,
Right.
I could feel it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Murphy, did you have anything else at all?
I did, but if I think of it later, I'll get at you later. It's not like urgent.
Okay. Chief of Staff, do you have anything
Yeah.
you'd like to present?
Sure do. Okay. So first, I got a bunch of stuff in here. I put like all my stuff in here whenever it comes to me or when I'm like speaking to citizens throughout the week and it's become clear that there needs to be an issue.
I will
so you
say,
all are go ahead.
I will say the cabinet stuff will wait until next week. Because Alan needs to set up like permissions and stuff.
I mean, we can still vote on it without having to hire anybody. We can do interviews.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the
Ready?
cabinet then.
Oh, you want to start with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Anyway, just I just wanted to like let everyone know since this is the first meeting that anything I put in here, I'm super happy to collaborate on throughout the week. Like if you have any additions, just throw them below my working document. I'm super happy to meet if you want to, and if you want to schedule time with me, I'm always just a phone call or email away. But yeah, okay, yeah, get to the cabinet. This was something that apparently Alan did conceive initially for the role because I'm chief of staff, but where's my staff? And this is codifying what that staff is and what their roles are in the mayor's office. I want to give everyone a second to read it.
Am I missing it? Where is this at?
It's in
Sorry.
city council
report
documents.
5641.
Report
There you go.
5641.
Mhm.
All right,
the
thank you.
cabinet.
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, I'm like cooked beyond belief right now.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm ready to vote yes on this because it says serving at their leisure. It's not like required for the state to function, and that's all that I care about. Is any superfluous staff needs to not be essential, in my
Right.
opinion.
So you said Craig needs to set something up, like just what's the plan for this, I guess, for y'all.
So, are these actual government employees on?
They would be government employees, so they would require to be individuals with no felonies, the same standards
Okay.
as the cabinet in that regard. I'm sorry, the council in that regard.
Yeah,
To
oh, it
help
does
support
say
the
that.
goals of the mayor's office.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of fucking work. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's an insane amount. I need help. I can't be everywhere and do everything all the time. It's overwhelming. I want to have people who are able to give like a pulse, right, on the city and their respective departments.
First side to that, Secret Service is this now a deputized officer?
No.
No, not
Okay.
a deputized officer. No. That's just more like police numbers are thin. Can't spare officers to keep me attended. I've been kidnapped like 1 to 3 times a day for the last 10 days. Cornwood was really helpful, but he's got more responsibilities, and I just yeah.
Last two, I'm gonna be blunt. That's kind of what I'm proposing to do with this role now. So I don't particularly see too much of a need for the last two if that's what I'm doing effectively.
You. So for Secretary of Finance, I'm gonna be honest. We got Glenn in mind for this position.
The
well,
guy
I
who
do like
lost his
Glenn.
wife
Oh
needs
yes,
a job.
yes. He did lose his wife.
He talks like a
He does need
vampire.
something. We could give him a hand out there.
You almost got your job, TJ.
Yeah, he would have been good.
Yeah, he did say that. Thank you. But yeah, I I'm very indifferent with those two because I kind of already have the thoughts to do those, and so I don't mind working with someone if that's the case. But yeah.
It would be working with them. It wouldn't be like me being like, but my secretary said this. It would be like two different data sets that we would be combining.
Yeah, I just don't want to go to a situation where essentially what is going to happen is you get the information data from his side to it. I get it from my side as well. And there becomes a disconnect as to who to trust with it or information of where it's coming from or what the purview is. I get that if you want to have someone that is personally in charge of informing you of things as a non-biased and very neutral type of party that is technically my side's my job. Yeah, that's why I said I don't mind working with them. I just don't want a separation of it.
What's the decision process for who gets these positions? Just kind of an interview process based on their experience or something, or how does this get fulfilled?
Sorry, say it again.
How do these positions get filled? Are you gonna have like an interview process? And
Yeah,
base it off
yeah.
of experience and
We'll
everything?
do interviews. Yeah.
Who do you have in mind for the Secret Service job?
As someone who looked after the personal security for 3 mayor's offices 5 years ago, I would love to be in on those interviews for that position.
Okay.
And I would prefer to have these like direct line to the people that are actually on the council, other than just like all going to one. Truthfully, like if you have Secret Service, that goes with Cornwood, right? I guess if you want to go with the other ones, I mean, press can go with whoever. But yeah.
Well, I think it should be like it's almost like it doesn't just go to me. It's like chief of staff or the PD liaison, right?
Mhm.
Like it should be like both, maybe, like instead of just going straight to the PD liaison. Because if they want to go straight to Siobhan about something for the Secret Service, I think that would be fine.
It's my staff.
Yeah,
Chief of
'cause it's
staff.
hers.
It's my staff. It is not the council staff. It's my staff.
Why is it only your staff, though? I guess is the question. Why
Yeah,
would this
I
not
just don't
benefit
s-
the entire city through the council?
Correct.
Why is it only your staff? What does that benefit?
Like, I don't think
So
you should be asserting yourself with commerce, labor, and finance if we have
When
someone
there
doing
are
already.
other positions, yeah.
Correct.
See, that's what I thought. If it comes to the council, I've no issue at all. But why is it only under you?
technically it says Mayoral Cabinet, so it's the mayor and myself.
Mhm.
I'm gonna again just say that this was something that Alan had initially envisioned for the role. He's the one who gave me this idea, so that's why.
All right. Well, I think we should have him here with it then, if that's the case. I don't want to create two divisions of the same work being done by different people for the sake of just doing it.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a shutdown. I'm just confused about the details.
I mean,
I think that having two different people working on the same thing is important. And my wife and I, we proved this when we were going through incident reports together to do the police audit. We double checked each other's work, so we were able to justifiably present an accurate number. You know, that's what the sort of they wouldn't be limiting your freedom to do your job, TJ, because I'm looking forward to working with you, because it seems already that you are leagues better and more possessed of initiative than the last treasurer. It is important. I've met a lot of talented people in Los Santos, and there have been many people that I wished I could bring on as a government employee to work with when it comes to legislating, when it comes to decision making, and to keeping our fingers on the pulse of the city on large. And it is very important that we are able to delegate like this, because otherwise some things might slip through the cracks.
Well,
So I just want to put your fears to rest. I would not value a Secretary of Commerce and Labor or Secretary of Finance. I would not value their opinions over yours, because I know your experience, I know what you're capable of, and I know what your intentions are. And I don't think I could say the same for just about anyone that would be interviewing for these roles. So
yeah,
think of it more as creating an environment for us to collaborate with just more than me and you.
No, sure. And I actually, believe me, I appreciate that more. And I'll give you a little bit of a history context behind this. When I didn't get the first time, Crane and actually Etta both asked me at the time to consult, right? And they were told that there was no funds available for it. So I did not end up doing it. Yes. So where I'm coming from is I'm open to that, because it had been something that I had been looking forward to. And I don't want to, if someone is interested in it, dissuade them from not potentially working their way if that's something they're looking for next term, right? So I'm more than happy to do that, because I know the feeling of kind of being fucked over with that. And I would rather work with them rather than have them be, no offense,
So-
Siobhan, but reporting into you with that.
So the thing is the role, every single role listed in this cabinet, they are designed to better inform me on how to interact with various aspects of the city, and that's why it's called the Mayoral Cabinet, right? It is so that I can have a meeting with my Secretary of Commerce and Labor and Secretary of Finance, and maybe discuss the current state and trajectory of the economy of Los Santos. And then I can be better educated to go later meet with you, so that when we discuss it, we can get some real fucking work done, instead of you having to, like, you know, for example, in theory, if I'm so far out of touch with it, you having to explain everything to me, because what would be preferable is that we get the explanation part out of the way on my own time with my own secretaries, so that we can get straight to work.
Can I just to add to this? One, I there are times where there is one guy for the job, right? I mean, there's absolute times where it's valid. There's only one person working on something. It's just what it is. It has to be on a case by case basis. I think something
Gotta go
like
with the X.
this, yeah, but I do think something like this, what it does, and this is speaking from the perspective of the police department, an issue that the police department is having right now is that we used to have a lot of very, very experienced people who ran shit. And those people are, they've unfortunately some of them passed away, some have moved on, and they ain't around no more. And the police department was not in a position to where you had younger folks like new blood trained up properly to be able to uh to be able to take the torch and run with it right off the rip, which has caused us some problems within the PD. So to this point, I mean, having these folks come in and get a taste of what it's like to be involved in some of the political side of things, even if they don't have the the responsibility of that of the people in this room, I think provides a lot of value for us not only to be able to give them that experience, but also for us to be able to evaluate them as well as potential candidates for something more important down the road.
And that's
Love
entirely
that.
fair. There's nothing wrong with that. Believe me, I'm not like
Uh-huh.
I'm not absolutely hating on it. I'm just trying to get the questions behind what is a thought as to why these are needed, so that it's explicitly clear why they are needed.
So that I can most accurately do my job. I spent a lot of time. There weren't enough hours in the day to these secretaries are effectively these are all things that the mayor should be good at. And I think I am pretty good at most of these. I'm good at talking to people to discover trends, and I'm good at with my fingers on the pulse of the city. I think I've figured out the economy pretty well. Not to say that there isn't room for improvement in any of these, and that's what my personal staff would be able to do. This is stuff that I could do right now, stuff that I have already begun considering to do right now. The purpose of this presentation is to allow these people to be classified as government employees so that they can receive a paycheck for doing their work. Which I did discuss this with Alan last night, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth or anything like that. He suggested that they so originally when I brought it up, it was I was suggesting that they be given a different sign in so as to allow them to be paid for their work. Alan told me that probably wasn't possible, but that what could happen is that they could be allowed to sign in as council members, so that they're able to fill that role for me and do that work for me, and have access to the reports to contribute even more to our burgeoning government. And it seemed like things were above board. So that's why we are presenting this.
I will add that the Secretary of Finance position was not there until last night when Alan suggested it. So that was a newer addition. And I can't quite remember his rationale at the moment, but I remembered that it was sound.
Yeah, not having it would be, this conversation kind of hurts. So having that would be nice.
So they'd be on the same pay rate as us. I'm assuming there'd be some check here to make sure they're actually completing all of these duties with the time allotted to them.
Well, yeah, I mean, they
there's
serve at our
obviously
leisure.
concerns there. Right, so they
Fuck
should
off,
only
they're
be
gonna get
signed
fired.
on when requested to work with you, or is this is this just something where people are gonna sign
Well,
on
these are
and hang out
trusted
and wait for you to
positions held.
call?
These are trusted positions held to the same standards, right?
There's a hell of a lot
As
of
us when
people
it
in that
comes to
trusted
the
position.
lack. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in this room too, right? With no felonies, right, of any kind. So they are being held to strict and high standards. I mean, I'll give you an example right now. For Secretary of Parks and Rec, I am thinking like Andy
Sure.
Jones,
Okay.
right? Especially Pride is
100%.
coming up. We need to plan Pride. We got less than a month now to plan Pride. We need to have events. We need to get stuff going. Andy's going to be a perfect person to assist with that. And I want to make sure that she's compensated for the amount of work that she's going to do when she does that, because it is a lot of effort.
She's a doctor, so you can't steal her. That's fucked up.
I might steal her.
I will
No,
say,
that's okay, but yeah.
I will say that I don't even give a shit if these people are signed in all the time, because at the end of the day, if they're making $900 an hour, they could instead be making $4,000 an hour.
Okay,
towing.
so
You know what I'm
raise our
saying?
doctor pay. You want to keep us at 500, but you want to hire these 6 people that can sit there doing potentially nothing all the time for 900.
Yeah. And
Okay,
you have been
justify
given.
that.
I have already justified that. If you were listening 3 hours ago.
Not nearly enough. I was willing to let it go because of the raise of EMS pay, but if we are requesting more government funds to go towards things that, to be frank, I don't see completely necessary. It's fine if we want them. That's okay. How does that make it reasonable to leave us with 500 when we have to actively be saving people's lives every second of every day that
Do
we're
you
signing?
think I shouldn't have staff?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying raise our pay. That's different.
Okay.
How about this? Let's put it to a vote. As written now, I would like to establish these roles to be interviewed, which I would love to collaborate with you guys on. In interview, you guys, all of you are welcome to sit on those interviews if you want. I move to classify these people to be announced, whoever they are, who must be free of felonies, to assist my wife and I in the many multifaceted aspects of operating government in Los Santos, as government employees, to be paid the same as council members. I am a yay, Mr. TJ Walker.
I'm a nay because I haven't heard from Crane's side, it's his brainchild.
It's my brainchild.
What the hell? I'm being told two different
Siobhan
things. now.
specifically said it was Crane's idea.
No, Crane
What he initially envisioned for the role. That's different.
The reason that there was not a staff for the mayor is because it was too weighty to fill out 16 roles as opposed to 8. It wasn't. All of you could have your own staff. All of you. We are taking the initiative. Mr. Solomon Walker.
I'm gonna be a nay for now.
Miss Philippa Cantor.
Nay.
Mr. Cletus Cornwood.
So you're basically making jobs for people in Los Santos.
Yes. Job
And
creation.
you're gonna provide them with an opportunity to be involved on a higher level with some of the bigger things in the city. Give them an opportunity to learn. They're not councilmen or councilwomen,
Correct.
but they are essentially getting the opportunity to learn, grow. Absolutely, yes.
Mr. Head of Bar Braun.
I have my own misgivings about this, but at the end of the day, I think in terms of future proofing, if you win the big election, then you should get to bring your people with you in some way, shape, or form. I don't see any harm in creating positions at various levels of expertise that may or may not help the mayor achieve their agenda. If those positions are accountable, same as any other, then I'm good with it.
Okay. Chief of Staff Siobhan Thoroughbred.
Yup.
And I vote yay. The motion to
Perfect.
establish the
Okay.
Mayoral Cabinet as government employees has passed 4-3. Wait.
All right. Next week I will bring forward my staff that I will propose. There
Okay.
you go, as you suggested.
Well, shit, I want a staff.
Yeah, why don't we all get it then? Fuck it.
We could.
Since this isn't under us.
I'm not trying to be difficult with it. I'm just trying to get the full clarification of this stuff, right? This is like the first time I've been hearing about this. So the historical components with it. If you don't bring people in, the parks, recs, etc. Nancy Drew back in the day did a fucking amazing job with that. I know Andy is always planning shit, and that's great. Just how everything functions with it, and not hearing kind of the side of Crane, who was putting this stuff together. That was where I needed to hear first.
Okay. Go on.
I was just gonna. I think this is great. This is gonna enable the growth of folks here in the city that hey, we need new blood. We need people to get that opportunity and really get to learn on the fly instead of getting thrown in the fire.
Agree.
Mhm.
All right. What else, Chief of Staff?
Whistleblower Protections Act. This is report 5273. Oh, we have some notes in here. Well, that's fine. We can explain those if anyone has the same questions. This is essentially an act just expanding some of the powers of the Civilian Oversight Board to actually provide protections to whistleblowers, since they already hear, certain complaints and whatnot, to provide and extend protection for anonymity when it calls for it. And since it's at a bar, I figured out the DOJ can figure it out. Any
Can
questions?
the Civilian Oversight Board not do this? Isn't this their whole point?
When it comes to protecting whistleblowers specifically from retaliation by their superiors or colleagues, I wanted this codified. I think it's important due to the chilling effect.
If people looking over the damn shoulder all the time.
The chilling effect is a legal concept that the threat or fear of specific repercussions can cause somebody to not practice their civil rights or their civic duties.
Okay.
So this is to combat the chilling effect for whistleblowing.
What sort of protections then? Their identities, the ability to report certain information anonymously, report their whistleblowing activity to the head of bar, or head of Civilian Oversight Board, which is the head of bar.
Right, yeah, but I'm specifically using the phrasing on Civilian Oversight Board because I wanted to expand the power of the Civilian Oversight Board. Let the head of that department, right, do as they see fit.
I cops are predisposed to retaliation when something like this happens from the police department. I think whistleblowing is super important. Super important, because there's a lot of stuff that can go under the radar and go unnoticed almost forever, because people and it's especially dangerous for the police department to not have any whistleblower protection, because there are a lot of people who cannot fly into Los Santos because they have a fucking cop visa, and at times it can be a bit scary to have that threatened. If you were to ever to witness some fucked up shit and you're like, okay, maybe I should tell someone about this, but they're afraid to tell someone about it because they're afraid that they're not going to be able to make it to Los Santos because they've been fired for telling someone about it. And that is a power dynamic that is absolutely fucking reprehensible to me. And I am 100% for something like this. What do you think, Cornwall? You're a cop.
I think you are right about the fact that there is a legitimate fear for your job whenever you bring shit up. And it's not about an individual experience. I mean, look back at what happened with me, right? I had a list of 12 names that came to me that did not want to speak to command above my head, and I was nothing more than a fellow officer to these guys, and I kind of became their voice, I mean, hell, that's the reason why I'm sitting here in this chair today. It's because I had the most votes in the PD for the liaison position.
Right.
I wrote one word in my application, and it's because they know I get shit done. Regardless, I think this is important, even if it's not like that anymore. And I do think that there needs to be something that connects. There's got to be some effort made before it's, hey, this is bad, run away. There's got to be some effort made before it goes to a place outside the department, but I don't know what. There needs to be something else here, but I don't know what it is. So I'm a yes, but I don't want there to be a situation where people are running straight out of the department and when there's some bullshit happening without trying to address a problem themselves.
And then just like dealing with me all the time about it.
Yeah, I mean, because
like, oh, some anonymous dude is fucking telling me that you're a piece of shit, and then
right,
hearing it from me. Yeah.
What do you think?
And then then you have to deal with bullshit. Like this ends up, you know what I mean?
I agree in an impassioned way with what the mayor said about protecting whistleblowers, because getting fired is fucked up if it's for some really gnarly reasons like that. I don't really like that, and I don't care for it. But if Crane were here, he'd probably say something or other grumbly about how if you try to build around the one asshole who does like awful stupid shit, then you're gonna end up with a pretty fucked up house, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What do you think, TJ, about whistleblowers? I know that this is probably a matter near and dear to your heart because you were
it
an
is.
ex-cop.
You're not wrong on this. I hate corruption every single facet. I do not like misuse. It was the reason I left PD. Fuck all that. Was not the reason I went on my whole terrorism shit. Heavily against that. For the whistleblowers, against corruption shit. The point I have in there that it's the empowering to do what as it reports. Just because it reports you, what's the outcome? Do you have any authority to do so? Because to me, it just sounds like y'all having a conversation and all right, here's some coffee. I'm having issues. Okay, cool. A glorified therapist like that. That's the only thing I don't know what your goal is with that.
I think what the goal is to, like, once the whistleblower goes to the head of bar, aka the head of the Civilian Oversight Board, and reports this, the report itself can be then brought to the police department, and if they do not kind of to investigate and figure out, is this actually happening, and if it's not actually happening, or whatever that investigation yields, and then finally, for the sake of the people of Los Santos, maybe even making the findings of that investigation public, obviously withholding the names of the people who reported it, as that would expose them as the whistleblower, obviously. And it's sort of a method of ensuring public accountability. And now I will say that the police department, as far as I've seen, because I was pretty involved courtesy of PCP and then going through with the interviews for chief of police and stuff, a lot of people had a lot of time to speak with me one-on-one, a neutral party. And I laid it out with them. I was like, listen, you could tell me whatever the fuck you want. You gotta tell me what's wrong, what you've seen, like egregious problems that need to be addressed. You can tell me straight up. None of them came forward to me with something like, hey, like something whistleblower worthy. No one did. So I think that's good. I think that this is a bit of future proofing, and I don't necessarily see a problem with future proofing. Sorry, I'm rambling. It's getting late.
No, I think it's a good point. Look,
Getting early.
My yes, but I think I think this is one of those things that you could probably pass now, and you can cross the butt when you get there.
Okay. Like what?
No, what I'm saying is, yes, but there needs to be something that's done internally before you head outside of the department to the head of the civilian oversight board. Because for the sake of future proofing, I think you make a good point in that there's nothing that you experienced once the PCP had been passed, or I guess after maybe my situation. So, yeah, my yes is a yes.
Okay. This let me be clear about this. We are more than capable of being functional without Alan Crane here, as we've shown. That said, he has a lot of insight on various aspects of this sort of shit. And I know that Siobhan probably does. I know that Murphy probably does, assuming you were a lawyer / judge in the past. All you guys do. I'm afraid that there is a certain dynamic that I'm missing here. And I think that's probably the same nagging feeling that Cletus has right now.
Yeah.
It feels like there's an aspect of this that is missing.
Are you afraid that there's gonna be people who are just like being, for lack of a better phrase, little bitches who are gonna abuse this and just cause issues?
And that's where I'm at.
Yes.
I'm trusting the head of Bar to be able to do a fact-finding investigation and figure out what's credible and what's not. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But then does he have to deal with bullshit, or should that be somebody within the department before it gets to him?
I mean, why not just put that into their questions and
Well,
you guys
there's
work out
4
those
people on
details
the
of how that
civilian
works?
oversight board, and
Yeah.
apparently
Oh, shit.
clerks
Yeah,
can
they
take
do.
those complaints too. But obviously, a whistleblower is probably going to go direct to me, and there's going to be fewer of them. So
I think
by the logic of how all the volume should be working, like regular complaints go to the people beneath me, and then I should have plenty of time for whistleblowers to come to me directly, right?
Right.
I don't see an
Yeah.
issue of volume.
Why don't we what we can do is in the whistleblowing thing, we can define the actual process that needs to be done in order to actually make it like a valid complaint. And the process that for example, the head of the civilian oversight board would be expected to do in order to follow through with their investigation. I feel like if we define that, then we wouldn't have to worry about people abusing the system because it will have clearly fleshed out checks. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah. I'm good with that. Walker, what do you think? Both Walkers, actually.
You go first, Solomon.
Hang on, I'm having a horrible moment right now. You go first. Something horrible's gone wrong.
Welcome to the MDT.
Yeah, funny thing is, I wasn't in the MDT, but yeah.
I think I already voiced my thoughts with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against whistleblowers and the whole corruption shit. Just literally flesh it out, plan. That's it. I'd be a yes if there's actually what you want out of it more.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of, especially since it's like I'm named in the thing, like I want to know like exactly what it means before I say yes to it, just because it's kind of like I'm signing myself away. So I'd like to see it cook a bit more.
Okay.
But I'm spiritually a yes on this, like big time.
What do you think, Solomon?
I'd go with the head of bar. Spiritually, yes, but I'd want to see it written out in totality so I know what I am saying yes to.
Okay. What do you think, Cantor?
Sure, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I'll just see how it irons out, but I'm probably yes. That's fine.
We'll define the process, and then we'll come up with a process. Me, my wife Murphy, and whoever else, if you're in City Hall. And then we can present the process at the next meeting, and then we can make our suggestions and input.
My main sticking point on this process is trust. Like it's pointless if the whistleblower doesn't feel like they can trust this whole mechanism.
Yeah. Well, also, what if you have a false whistleblower?
Yeah, See that's it would this
It's
this all
all
stuff
it's
that
all in there. Yeah.
yeah.
I can
We're
smell
gonna-
bullshit.
Yeah, that too, right? Let's move on to the next piece of legislation.
Okay.
Is it the toe clamps one?
It is the toe clamps one. Toe clamps on you part 2.
Okay. Please.
So the only thing I've done is add an amendment for illegal towing and illegal clamping to you should be able to read it. This is report 5792. The last line really explains what its purpose is to empower the courts to disincentivize illegal towing and illegal clamping of illegally parked vehicles. I'm also open to suggestion. It could just start at up to 10 times and then be even higher than that.
Why 10 times?
I want it needs to be heavily disincentivized. It's become like a pervasive problem.
Didn't we just talk about this with Cornwood shit earlier?
We did, and this was actually within the same. This was in the same vein and the same like heartbeat of that.
That's PD though.
It
It
This
just
is
wasn't really.
just,
That was
like,
PD. This is
general.
Okay.
this is general. This is empowering. This is empowering.
I'm a
court
yes on
decisions.
this. I'm a yes.
I mean,
on this.
would you be down to merge those two ideas together and add a couple lines into this for the PD vehicles?
I have to abstain on literally all of this for I'm a biased clamper, guys.
Of course, of course.
Also, Alex, do you have any more food?
Oh my god.
Oh, it's
What
been
was the-
5
was the
hours.
report
and
number?
we
Is
did not
there
have food.
is there food or coffee
No.
or anything at this point?
Oh fuck!
There's the vending machines downstairs.
Hell no.
I'm not that
$40 for a
rich.
bag of chips. I'd rather shoot myself.
No
in the
one's that
head.
rich.
Look.
Wait, if he's biased enough against tow trucks, I gotta be.
No,
Do
you're
I
not.
have
Shut
to
the fuck
abstain?
up. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
I can go get everyone food since I have to abstain on this anyway.
I'm so hungry.
I'll be right back.
That'd fine.
Hooray!
Give me like 8.
That'd be great. Yeah.
We have to get you a
Nah, I
bigger
don't
belt
have to
then, Cornwood.
abstain.
Come
All
on now.
right.
That's why I got 2.
I'm not biased against tow trucks. Tow trucks have just happened to have wronged me many times. It's not
But
bias.
It is
That's
not biased. He's
circumstance.
conflicted. All right. So, thoughts? I mean,
Yes.
do you
Yep.
yes?
Yep.
We're all big fans of this.
Yep.
What was the report number?
I
Yup.
would just merge it in with the other one. 10x seems kind of. I don't know all the
5792?
actual costs with that. What's the? It's what 600 to get it out or something like that.
Yep.
So it's 6,000.
Yep. That's just to make sure you're not
Um,
illegally towing legally parked vehicles, and that's just in punitive damages. Other damages may apply, right?
So this has to then.
I'm not
be
limiting the
s-
courts. I'm just empowering them.
Yeah. So this has to be then be seen by a judge, right?
Yep. Not changing anything. Making I'm advocating for adjudication occurring then.
Yeah. So legal pay should be fine.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Other damages. I'm guessing if there's any like transportation damage to the vehicle, body, etc.
Yep.
So
Other
this is
damages.
It seems civil.
It's purely for civil. It's to empower civil courts.
So what do you think? What do you think about adding that red right there?
Let me look.
So it seems more like a guideline than anything else.
Okay, police vehicles are exempt from being booted or towed. Okay, I mean,
No, like we don't want police vehicles exempt from being towed, right? 'Cause
without a
if you
police
head pop-
authorization.
If you head pop and you don't come back and you're like fuck it and your car's in the middle of the road, it's got to get towed, right?
So I would just say
like,
police authorization. Just get
police,
the okay then.
The agreement that we came to was in police presence. If the cop comes up to you and says "fuck off," then you fuck off. Like there's like it's a lawful order at that point. Like it's their car. You're tow. You have no tow jurisdiction over a police officer at any point in time. I think is
Okay, yeah, I think that works. I think the phrasing that was just added works. Sorry, was that?
or towed without police authorization within a reasonable time.
Maybe you have a headache and 5 minutes or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
If it's been there, if you're like, let's say you're watching it and you've seen a police car there for like 10 minutes, maybe you should notify authorities and see what's going on. Just a thought, before you see if you're okay to tow.
Yeah.
And what if we make it? What if we do
it's
this for
becoming,
the
it's
EMS as
becoming
well?
an extreme problem with the tows as well, because every event that I've been to in the past week, the tows circle it, and they
Yeah, they're
take
like
off
vultures, I
cars
swear.
one by one.
It's wild.
It's surgical.
Uh-huh. So does that work, Siobhan? I don't mean to redline all your shit.
Oh, no, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would love to put this up to a vote if everyone else
Okay.
here is sufficient. Or does anyone else have any other additions, comments, concerns, questions?
No, not really.
Okay. I guess just a formal vote. TJ.
Not against it. Just seems like I said, more of a guideline than anything else. A suggestion.
Like I said, it's just to empower them.
Legal towing, legal claim
Yeah,
should be
cool with it.
punishable in court. That's the cost of the unclamping fee.
Actually, didn't change the language. Hold.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm so fucking tired right now. I don't think you understand how bad it is.
I feel like it's
hard
5
for me to
a.m.
read. I feel like I'm getting
You're
close
doing
to
amazing.
24 hours and dreaming about flights across the country.
Oh shit.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Sounds
Jesus.
terrible.
And then yeah, it's been a day.
I'm sure the first meeting of every session.
Yeah, I mean we kind of.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
I
Sure.
think we expected this one to be a little longer, right?
What? Hang on, did you say we expect this one to be longer?
Craig told me this
I
was gonna be a
personally-
quick one.
I personally
I did
did
not.
expect this one to be long because wasn't
Yeah,
the
me
first one
too, me
super
too.
long, right?
Yeah.
First
So we
one
have
was
a
like
lot to
7
go
hours,
over.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
start
no,
time-capping Bobby
it
and
wasn't that
Carmine.
bad. But I did expect this to go long. I knew Siobhan had a lot. I knew I had things. I knew everyone would have questions. So yeah, there you go. I did not expect Bobby and Carmine. That added to the time significantly.
That sure did. Sorry. So TJ, what was it? Was it you're still reading?
No, I said I'm fine with it. Go for it.
Yay. Okay, Solomon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay. Okay, Cantor.
Yep.
All right,
yay.
Cornwood.
Yay.
Murphy.
Yay.
And then I'm yay. Yay.
All right.
So Murphy, can you speak up, please?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, great. It passed. Okay. Next. So whistleblower. Hold on. So toe clamps. That one and Okay, so this is a working one. I'm not ready to present it by any way, shape, or form. That was pretty much everything. This is just like a heads up for next week on something I'm working on. Please, I would love to collaborate with any of you on this. Is tenants' rights. I think that's something that might need to be getting established in the near future. I've been hearing some things that would some things on the streets that would lead me to believe that this might be necessary.
We have landlords now. Hey yo.
Something was brought to me. We can wait for this discussion if you prefer, but it's worth bringing up.
Okay.
In regards to this, that someone suggested that this might be just like a lot of your other legislation, purely self-serving due to the fact that you were attempting to get a loan, and part of that loan might be that the house be owned by another person. So you're trying to legislate the fact that they will not be able to take it away from you if you do not pay.
What?
Hey, it was suggested.
Lol. No. No.
Okay, so what is the reason?
Okay, so the reason is because of people like Joseph Arrowhead, because of people like Billy Thorne.
But not Mr. K, the people you were trying to legislate giving them
Nay.
tax benefits in the past.
No, this was just
so
to
what's
make sure that
changed?
this was just to make sure that people weren't being fucked over. That's it.
But you were willing to fuck people over in the past.
No.
So the retake's fine.
That was more of a rent to own
not this
agreement,
one.
and I think that there was a huge misunderstanding due to the fact that I wasn't able to actually present that as it should have been presented.
That is true. If I remember correctly, Max, by his own words, didn't know what it said, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah, so anyway, I'm happy to collaborate with anybody on this throughout the week. Just ideas, floating those types of things. You know, if you're concerned that that might be a thing, you know, happy to work with you on, you know, ensuring that that legislation doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form. Because no, that literally neither of those things had anything to do with each other.
sure.
Correlation does not equal causation.
What?
Hey, that's all right. I believe you. I just wanted to bring it up since it was brought to me.
Are we looking at a report here?
Yeah, it's in the MDT. It is under, hold on, it is 5864. I literally just wrote the first sentence. I wanted your feedback on this. Like, I just wrote the first sentence. I wanted to work with council members on this because I think this would fall underneath everybody's interests and purview.
This
Yeah.
act establishes tenants' rights in Los Santos with respect to landlord-provided housing accommodations. So,
I think we got to figure out how to defend against squatters.
Well, this is more about like
Is that a
people who
comment?
invested in homes should have some safety in their domiciles, you know?
I mean, hell, you take a step further.
Mhm.
I mean, stand your ground, castle doctrine.
I was thinking about when
That's a
there's a
separate
death.
thing, but-
I'm not trying to do wills and testaments, but I was thinking about when there's like a death.
Oh,
So I wanted to work with other people. So no, this has nothing to do with me. And that's why I brought up Joseph
Okay.
Arrowhead's name
No,
in
that makes
particular.
sense.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, please let me know. TJ, you know, I'd be really interested in hearing your thoughts on this. Solomon, Cantor, Corman Murphy, honestly, all of you. I grabbed your numbers out of the lemon list if I didn't have it. So, you know, I'll follow up with you to see if there's a good time for us to meet. But if you're not interested, just let me know now.
Yeah, anytime I'm not like absolutely just dead.
No,
mentally.
absolutely. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Earlier in the day is fine.
Probably not tonight, but
Not tonight. Not tonight.
tomorrow?
Not tonight. This is later in the week. That's all I'm just throwing out there. I will reach out to you later. Okay. Well, I think that's everything. I think the meeting is adjourned.
Yo,
Does
what
anyone
about
else has anything
Tuesday?
else?
Is everybody good Tuesday?
Yeah, it looks like Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Yeah,
I would
Tuesday,
love
Tuesday works.
Tuesday.
One just last thing real quick.
Mhm.
You know better. Please God, don't ask my doctors for medical equipment anymore. We've already had to fire one. I don't want to do that again. Amori was good.
I have no idea
Oh,
what you're even
shit.
talking about.
She admitted to it, so no.
I
don't
literally have
deny
no
it at
idea
this
what you're
point.
talking about because I did not ask for
you-
anything.
Well, you
Well, I don't
took
know, I
it
think
from
she's-
her, so or
I
she
di-
admitted to something that she didn't do.
Well, anyways,
Sounds like you have you know, your own
Good
house to
meeting.
keep clean.
See you guys Tuesday.
Yes, I am, which is why she is fired.